10 still.
Oh, will I
guess Sean's not here tonight.
Oh, geez,
welcome
geez.
to BlackwaterDnD, where we're missing Sean this evening. Sean is on a plane right now on the way home from LA, so you might Sean's on a plane. We might see Sean tonight. We might not.
I'd like to imagine he's sitting on the plane and he just like spider senses are tingling and he goes, I have a bit.
I'm supposed to do the bit now.
Turns to the person next to him.
It says, welcome. Blackwater.
Oh, I'll do that. Welcome to Blackwater, where the milk is spidery, just like Australia.
Adam, you are joining us from Australia, so you have the ability.
A full gallon of spider milk,
and we're all wearing t-shirts, and you're wearing a jacket. It's very strange.
I'm out on the deck, like I'm literally outside. It's not cold, but it's not warm.
Australia standards. I am going to jump into announcements here tonight so we can play that good D&D. As the world moves steadily forward, please consider donating to reputable organizations to help those fighting against terror, war, and oppression. You will notice a new link in there if you type !action to donate to the National Abortion Fund. Please go stop people trying to take control of what other people do with their bodies. That's bad. Don't let that happen where you are. So please donate to reputable organizations that are helping fight that cause. A big thank you to our sponsors, Legendcraft, a nerdy woodworking company from Calgary. Check them out. If anything tickles your fancy, enter the code Blackwater checkout for a discount. We are also proud to be sponsored by Sirenscape because epic games require epic sound. We have two amazing partners. The first up is Legend Keeper. This is the ultimate world building tool created by DMs for DMs. You can use it to create comprehensive wikis and atlases. It is just a fantastic tool. I had a lot of fun last night, even though I couldn't get us streaming because my computer hates OBS. We did some Pantheon building in Discord last night. It was me and a couple of people from the community. It was super fun. I'm going to try and do some more of those. So if you are a member of our Discord, please come in. If you see me in a video chat, that's what I'm doing. And I'll usually post about it. So please come hang out. Our next partnership is Kobold Press. We are at the series finale tomorrow of our Margrave campaign, The Rotting Heart. It is a fantastic campaign. All of the episodes are on YouTube as of this point. We've got Tim in the DM seat, myself, Adam, and Cody as players with our dear friends Brianna DeCoster of Uti Hime Cosplay and Gordy Lucius, who is a Canadian comedian who with his brand new show on CBC Gem called Frick, I Love Nature. So it's so good. So please come watch us tomorrow night for our series finale. It's 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time at twitch.tv/Kobold Press. Love us always to our dice goddess Keisha at fairydragon_dice and our campaign artist Tiana Kovacevic. You can find her at miss._Marston. We have a merch. We have much merch. We have a Discord and we have YouTube that is like very well curated for you. Everything is up there. It's great. So go do that. A big thank you to those of you who subscribe to us. Don't forget to re-up your subscriptions because they don't roll over to every month. You can also sub with your Amazon Prime. That's like one free sub a month. And if you choose to give it to us, thank you. That's so kind of you. Yeah, and we're also just really grateful for you showing up week after week. It's the best. Before I jump into our programming, Len, what are you up to on your channel this week?
Oh, I'm probably going to stream for a pretty long time tomorrow because it's a day that's hard for some people tomorrow, including me. So I'm gonna stream basically all day. And then I'm live on, I'm going to get this first go Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. I think I've been playing a lot of Sims. I built the cutest little pink farmhouse this week. Didn't cry once over the roof. So
amazing.
Usually I cry.
You cried about a roof?
Yeah, trying to put your own roof on a house. It's absolute
I
fucking
thought you
hell.
cried at like looking at the roof and you were just like,
no,
so beautiful. And
more than a one person
trying to build a roof is my worst enemy because I like to make I don't like having my houses be just like boxes. So I'm like, oh, look at this fun shape. And then when I come to roofing it, I'm like, fuck,
I think
nothing
that's what most roofers
anywhere.
do. They go, fuck,
yeah,
nothing
fits. So I built a very cute little house and I'm very excited to play games.
That's awesome. So yeah, one of our mods has shouted out Len in the chat. Adam, you're streaming this week. What are you doing? I
can't play games. I don't have the capacity to stream games while I'm in Australia. So we are introducing Podcast Adam because my microphone doesn't have a stand. And so everything I do is me holding my mic and just chatting. So it's going to be just chatting streams on Monday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and on Thursday, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we're just going to do deck chair chats. There's my dad walking behind, getting rid of prawn tails. Hi, Dad.
What a ledge.
What a ledge. We do love
He's
Adam's
trying to
parents.
show real prawns. This is a weird bit. This is a
So
really
is
weird
he,
bit. It's taking so long.
Adam, is he putting some shrimps on
The Barbie.
the bar? I'm so
No, he's
sorry.
putting prawns.
Prawns on the
Oh,
Barbie. Oh,
Look
yeah.
at that unit.
We love that.
But yeah, so it'll just be a just chatting stream. But the parents will probably drop by, and I'm going to see if I can't talk with some folks while I stream here on the deck in Australia. It's a good time.
Amazing. Our wonderful producer, Cody, also streams. You can find their stream shouted out wherever I am in the chat. One of our mods will shout out Cody as well. We have some amazing stuff coming up over the next little while. As I said, our Kobold Press campaign series finale is tomorrow, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time at twitch.tv/Kobold Press. If you missed it today, I interviewed two of the creators, the writing director and the art director of Uncaged Goddesses, which was such a fantastic interview. The VOD is here on Twitch. It'll be live on YouTube in a couple days. It was such a great time. We chatted all things and about Uncaged Goddesses, and we did some teasers for Exalted. It's going to be a very fun time. But this week, we are very excited to premiere our brand new campaign for the summer months. Our first one of this month, the Raging Bulls Saga.
Adam is so much planning. I definitely haven't been busy.
No,
I've
not
had a
at
lot
all.
of time off. Just
Yes.
planning away.
The Raging Bulls Saga is the story of three Minotaur barbarians just trying to finish a job. We started this during a stream drive, and we're looking forward to continuing it. Adam is in the. Go ahead.
Well, so each Raging Bulls episode has had a title. So there was Rage Against the Machine, there was Rage Against the Dying of the Light, and the original Raging Bulls. This one will be the Raging Seas.
The Raging Seas. Well, I'm very excited. It is myself as Jersey, Cody as Oleander, and welcoming Eric back to the table as Veal the Young. So
Veal the Young is such an upsetting name.
I'm very excited.
Man, we
Eric's-
tossed around a lot of names, and I'm really
Veal.
glad he settled on that
That's
one.
good. That's good. Veal the Young is fun.
It's going to be super delightful. So that premieres this Wednesday, which is May 11th at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, right here on our channel. And then not this third Wednesday, but the following Wednesday, Exalted premieres May 18th, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, featuring myself in the DM seat. And we've got Cody and Adam and Len in our first episode. And while Pond is on maternity leave and will be joining us in an episode down the road, it is a tier 4 campaign. Oh my gosh, I am so
We got some
excited.
art, and
We've got art coming. I have
Looks
seen
good so far.
proofs for Len's character and Adam's character so far, and I am very, very excited. It is a very, very good time. So yeah, if you're wanting to come do some world building with me, that is what I am world building and campaign planning for. Would love to have your input, and I post in our Discord about that. So please come hang out with us. And thank you so much for supporting us to allow us to bring you this new content just all the time. We love that new good D&D. So lastly, whether you are new with us tonight or you have been with us for ages, thank you so much for your support. We love you immensely, and thank you so much for hanging out with us at our table. We hope you feel super welcome here. Cody, roll the clip. Roll the clip.
Roll the clip.
No.
Four.
Oh, no.
We're live. I think we're
We must
live.
be
now.
live.
Are we live? I think we're live.
We're live.
Hey,
Tim,
wait, Tim, before you do the last we left
Mhm.
off, do the last we left off, and then
Sure.
Yeah.
So for those of you just joining us tonight, last week, Kale and Callie decided to leave the Gilded Palace after a tempting offer was made by the prince himself of all manner of delights. In turning him down, his palace separated from the floating bridge, stranding them in the abyss, as a horrifying two-headed demon arrived intent on killing them, along with a snake-like demon with the body of a woman and 6 swords. The rest of the party arrived just in time as the two-headed demon began to wreak havoc with its greatsword, and the ensuing battle on the floating bridge. It decapitated both Kale and Letters before being dispatched by Callie. After a quick revivify, their companions were brought back as they all returned to Wulfrene. Upon returning, Finnan had his father arrested for the murder of his mother, and Kale and Neppy cast legend lore on his tattoos. This revealed a memory from Kale's past and the revelation that Adonis had taken him from his former universe. And that is where we pick up.
So before we get into things, Tim, I know I say this very often, and it's often not true, but it is my birthday. Do we level up? We level up. It is my I know I say it's my birthday a lot, but today is actually my birthday.
This is true. It is Adam's birthday.
And so happy birthday
because
to me.
It is your birthday, and 2 players were decapitated. Yes, you guys do level up. So we can take a bit of time now to level up before we jump into the session itself.
Let's do it.
Oh goodness.
Oh boy.
I don't know how to level up because I only have one screen. One screen is so.
I guess you can't level up. I guess everybody levels up.
I guess,
Adam,
yeah.
It makes us level 18, right?
17, y'all.
God damn it, M.
You know what? Someone has to keep this train on the rails, okay?
You forgot to sign homework.
Teacher, this is the homework.
What about the homework you gave us?
Thank you so much for the sub, Flu. Nice to see you, friend. Okay. Oh my gosh, I get
17.
Guess what I get at level 17, guys?
A 9th level spell?
Nothing.
He's nuts.
No, you get a 9th level spell.
Don't you?
Oh, wait, you're full sorcerer, right?
Yeah, I think the spellcasters get a 9th
Yeah,
level
17, you get your 9th levels, yeah.
Why isn't this erasing properly?
Double dang. What 9th level spell are you going to take?
I have an idea of one, but it is a beefy spell, so I want to get approval.
I mean, it is
first.
9th level. I feel like
Blade of Disaster. I want Blade of Disaster because it's such a spicy spell.
You use that in Brothers Grimm.
Yeah, it's a sick spell.
Oh my gosh, I get to write 17 in this book. Holy shit.
I didn't prepare any level up Sirenscape music, so I apologize.
Totally okay.
That's my bad.
All right, I'm going to roll for my hit dice. So I get a D8.
I probably have something I can use here.
Maybe you just use the Wulfrene music?
I also get a D8. Witness me.
I think it'll be...
Oh, I rolled an 8.
Hey, we love that.
Oh, yeah, there we go. That actually genuinely scared me.
All right.
Oh, damn. I had rolled exactly 100.
Is 8.
Nice.
So 167 plus 8 is 175.
Yeah, I'll throw in some.
So yeah, I can choose from Astral Projection, Blade of Disaster, Foresight, Imprisonment, Power Word Kill, Psychic Scream, or True Polymorph. And I feel like of them, Blade of Disaster makes the most sense for Finnan.
Oh,
Astral Projection, I think, is like probably the most useful.
Astral Projection is not a bad spell.
Tim just wants to separate us from our bodies,
Snip,
from ourselves. Snip, snip, y'all. At level 17, as a cleric, I get. Oh man, I am so excited for what I get. I have been waiting for this for so long. So at level 17, everyone, I get something which is a grave cleric feature called Keeper of Souls. So at level 17, when an enemy dies within 60 feet of me, myself or one creature of my choice within 60 feet regains hit points equal to the enemy's number of hit dice. And it is a free action. It's not a bonus action. It is not a reaction. It is a free action. Okay. And I can use that once a turn. And I am
huge.
So
huge if true.
Huge is true. Looked it up. Is true, Tim.
I get an additional usage of my Blend and Brighten ability which I use
Ooh.
all the time. It's the one that I can reduce the damage by half or disadvantage it like as Brighton. And I use that so infrequently. I honestly just remembered that I have that feature.
Also, something important for everyone is your proficiency bonus goes up to +6, everybody.
Which makes my persuasion a +17.
I will not lie. I'm gonna play like I am half level 17, half level 16 because I cannot do my leveling up right now.
That's fine.
It is a whole ordeal for Callie because none of my stuff is in D&D Beyond for her.
double dang.
Really, it's like half of it is, but most of it's not. So I
Mhm.
play through a couple different things.
Well, I'm really excited with I don't think I get anything else except a 9th level spell. I do.
What
Oh,
9th
I
level
lost
spell
it.
are you taking?
Well, let's look at the 9th level spells that
I
I
guess
have.
you can prepare anything, so it's not really the.
I can.
What is
there-
Kale taking? He's choosing.
Yes,
what
I think
spells do you
of
have?
the classes, Sorcerer is one of the hardest ones when you hit that level because you're like, there's so much good stuff. Whereas Warlock, you get like maybe 12 to choose from, and like
Yeah.
if you're doing a thematic character, you can kind of land on the right one. Whereas Sorcerer is like there's
All
so
right,
much
I'll
juicy
give-
stuff, and you
I'll
only
give
get
you-
one choice.
I'll give you my options.
Yeah. Let's hear it.
Blade of Disaster, which you've already covered.
If you want
Gate.
Blade of Disaster, I can go
No,
somewhere
no,
else.
no.
Like I can, yeah.
Gate,
Mm.
which
Oh,
is
it's-
It's pretty dope.
If you take
Interesting.
Gate, that's pretty good.
It's interesting.
Gate is an option that I can take, and I am not going to take it.
I have to. I'm not quite sure exactly what it does. I'll read it in a sec. I can take Mass Polymorph
Holy shit!
up to 10 creatures.
Oh my god.
Does that mean our spell save DC goes up also to 19?
If your proficiency goes up.
Yes,
Yes.
it does.
Yeah.
Then
My
yes,
spell
it does.
save is higher now.
I can cast. I can choose Meteor Storm.
Oh, Meteor Storm is
Mm.
so good. That's what Moradin cast on us.
You
The
could
creature
use-
takes 20d6 fire damage and 20d6 bludgeoning damage on a failed save.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
You could do true
Um,
polymorph.
True Polymorph is also a good time.
I don't
That's-
have True Polymorph as
Oh,
an
no?
option here.
Maybe it's,
Maybe
just
it's
a
not
wizard
a.
spell.
That's a wizard.
Or
Might be
is it
only
just
I could
Wizard?
choose.
wizards.
True.
I could choose
And
Power
Druid
Word
Bully.
Kill.
Oh,
That's
wow.
fun.
Warlocks can get true polymorph too.
Can they?
Bard, warlock, wizard.
Oh shit.
Psychic Scream.
Ooh, Psychic
Yeah, that's
Scream is
what's
a
a
fun
good
one.
one. You can make their heads explode.
I know what I'm taking. I'm going to take
Time
mass.
stop.
I'm going to take mass heal.
Mm.
That's what I'm taking.
Stop.
Time Stop is kind of cool.
Yeah, time stop is cool.
That feels like very Kale.
Yeah. And then
Oh,
the
yeah, True
last
Polymorph is
one,
of my options.
the last option is I can take Wish.
Oh, buddy.
Wish.
Oh boy.
And that's the one I'm having a hard time walking away from.
Wish is big.
But there's
Huge
a
if
30,
true. Huge
there's
if
a
true.
33% chance you lose the ability to ever cast it again, and there
Not
goes
small.
my 9th level slot.
Not small.
That's
If you use it to
specifically.
if
that's
you don't
for
use it to
spec-
cast something
Yeah.
that is an
Yeah.
existing spell 8th level or lower.
Wait, one sec.
So with Wish, I can cast any 8th level or lower spell, correct?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It essentially replicates a spell.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, my religion is plus 11 now. I know everything about religion.
I love that you can undo a single recent event by forcing a reroll of any roll made within the last round, including your last turn.
That means my passive perception is 21. Heck yeah, dude.
Oh, that means my passive perception is 26 now.
Minus 14.
My persuasion is also plus 17, so the lowest I can roll is an 18 on persuasion.
That's fucking bananas, yo.
Do as I bid.
Okay. Oh, and also my destroy undead goes up to CR4.
Whew.
So I can
That's
destroy,
some like pretty substantial.
and I can still turn undead.
What birds
what?
are those?
Sorry, what?
What birds are those?
It's a cockatoo, also known as the bird of the psychic scream. That's what the psychic scream sounds like. I'm gonna mute myself for a second because there is a flock of them.
Just
a flock
cockatoos
of
down there.
them.
Fancy crows.
Fancy crows.
Super fancy crows talk to you. I think that's everything I get. And a 9th level spell. I am taking Mass Heal. That is what I am taking. And I think that's it. That's all I get. All I get. It's level 17, babies. This is exciting. This is very exciting. I'm ready. My body's ready. Hi, Rogue.
I think something that's wild about Wish is the fact that you can cast any spell 8th level.
Yeah,
or lower.
from
Like,
any
spell list.
Yeah.
That's
class.
you just like that's so crazy because
You
it's
can
just like
cast Resurrection.
you have
Is-
perfect versatility, and yeah, doesn't it cover the
Healing spells. Yeah.
Yeah, it says any spell.
and it covers the material
components,
component as
yeah.
well. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meeting any
It's
requirements include
there's
costly
only
components.
verbal.
yeah.
It's
It's-
only verbal.
Yeah.
Crazy. And that if you do that to do like true, like not true resurrection, but like resurrection and stuff, that doesn't trigger the like chance of destroying Wish. It's crazy.
Modern day Wish is just Wish the shopping site.
Get
Okay,
anything
Whatever you want.
Whatever you want, whatever you
Whatever
need.
you
don't know when you'll
want.
get
It will be of lower quality, but
than
whatever
what
you
you
want.
thought you were gonna get.
Below 9th level, but you'll get
It's
it.
just the like
Eventually.
suggestions too. It's like, oh, did you want this super obscure odd thing that you've never thought about wanting before? It's
And you're
here.
like, yes, I do
It's
want
yours.
that.
In
And it's
6
like,
to
no,
9
I
months.
don't want that, but I'm going to screenshot it and send it to all of my friends.
I think Wish is probably the most screenshot marketplace on the internet because it's just
Hmm.
buck wild.
I've
Like,
sent
it's
so
just-
many screenshots from there to
It's
you
to-
guys
yes,
because
to our
I'm
stream.
like, this is wild. Why would I
don't
want
think-
this?
I don't think I have anything else. I have updated my book. My book is updated. I'm good to go.
Nice.
I'm good to go.
Okay. You made your decision?
Yes.
I have made my decision.
Did you take Wish?
You will have to wait and see.
Ooh, okay. I guess
Oh.
we'll wait and see. All right. So, as I said, we pick up with Kale coming out of that vision as you asked Neppy why Adonis would take you. And that's where we pick up.
I don't know. I don't know why he took you. I'd like to hope he had a reason.
I'm sure he did. I'm sure there was a very good reason. I mean, he took me so he can put me back. So at least I now know that I can go back.
You could. Potentially, I don't know.
It's a conversation he and I can have. I'm sure there's a very good reason as to why I'm here. I'm glad I can be of help while I'm here. So
Can I, using my exceedingly good insight, like what does Kale look like right now? Like what facial expression do I see on his face? Is he trying to hide something? Is he like?
oh, he's definitely very troubled by this. It shakes a lot of the it's one of those things where you like, you know, in the movies when you find out like the spy movies where someone is supposed to like be undercover and infiltrate and they fall in love and then they find out it was never genuine, but it might have eventually been, but it's that moment where he's like, oh, Adonis knew the whole time. He sort of misled. He's feeling very betrayed, but he's trying to play it off like it's no big.
I feel like Neppy would see that though. Like she would have, knowing Kale, I think she would see that. I'd take Kale's hand.
Make sure you talk to him about it. Don't let it stir or fester. I don't know where he is right now, but the next time you see him, talk to him. I don't know much about relationships, but I know that communication is the most important thing in a relationship with your partner. Also, my thought being, Adonis is the harmonic keeper of the universe. Obviously, if he took you, you are more important than you could probably ever realize.
It's very, very kind of you to say.
Well, it's true.
It might be. I mean, I worked in Adonis' shop for a long time, and there's a lot of really important things in there, and there's also just a lot of junk in there. He likes to collect things. Some are important, some are just amusing to him. So, yeah, it would be great if I was important and not just a,
You're not a bauble.
I mean, I could be. I mean, I could be, but I appreciate. Yes, no, I will talk to him. I'm sure there's a fantastically good, reasonable reason.
I hope so. Is there anything else I can do?
No, I appreciate you taking the time and helping me with this.
Always. Anytime.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm gonna go to Temple Caracal. If you'd fancy a walk, or would you like some time alone?
Oh, yeah, I'll walk with you.
Yes, I've got to go check in with my priestesses. So, we'll head on over. And Nebby stands and kind of offers her arm.
I would take it.
All right.
And we walk to Temple
You
Caracal.
head over to Temple Caracal to check in on the priestesses there. And by that time, Trixie and Finnan have headed to the Blackwater Keep to kind of catch up and have a bit of a double date with Neva and Tab. As you enjoy your meal, is there anything else you'd like to do before you rest for the evening?
No.
All right. So you all kind of finish out your night and then come back to the keep where you rest for the evening, and morning comes. And what would you all like to do?
So we retrieve letters from the dojo.
He's got sweaty and he slept, but he's also been at it for a while. It looks like he went down early and got up early, you know? Yeah, let's do this. I feel stronger.
Well, are we all ready to go to try and figure out Esticia and get in touch with her?
Yeah, I think it's not a bad idea.
Now I know we spoke yesterday, but just to confirm what we all remember speaking from yesterday, we had talked about going to Sigil to use TEDs to allow us to try and get through to the city in the water elemental plane, because I know nothing. I know the tunnel that is near the statue of Melora or in Silen, but other than that, I don't know anything.
Also, thank you so much, Top Down Tabletop, for the raid. Hello, welcome in,
What
folks.
up?
Hi, so happy to have you. Welcome, friends.
The tunnel was the last place you saw her, though, right?
That's correct, yes. We went through Silen to this tunnel, and we saw multiple tunnels of places that we could go, and she reached a tentacle down. At least I assume it was her, a giant eye at the end of a tunnel, reached a tentacle down, and we managed to scoot into a tunnel, and we came out up near Farway Tavar and Shinkik. And from there we traveled to Caradoc. So
Right.
it was quite far. So we could go there, but I don't know.
I think Sigil is maybe our best bet.
We will have to keep a low profile in Sigil.
Why is that?
Well, a couple
Stupid
people.
question. I can probably put two and two together.
A couple
honestly.
people are wanted for arrest
That
there.
makes sense. I can deal with that. I can fix that.
Well, I'm sure we can. We've been to the TEDs before, so I can probably get us right outside the door. And if we need to, we can pop out. I'll keep that spell slot open, and we can pop out.
I can also make us not look like us, or the
Yes, that
people
might
who
help
are
right off the
yeah.
top.
the people who are wanted, I can make look different? Or should it be like kind of an all for one kind of thing?
Well, we were all there and we all witnessed it. So
Right.
probably helpful.
Everyone change a little bit. No worries.
Should we do that now? Before
Yeah,
we go?
sure. I'm going to cast Seeming. And I am going to make everyone... I'm just going to gender bend the party. I'm just going to make everyone look like how Finnan would imagine them looking. Femme to mask and mask to femme. Just switches it. So anyone who's like familiar with them would be like, huh. Like they would be that like, they look like a sibling, essentially.
That'd be so handsome.
Black
handsome.
would pull you aside, Finnan.
Yeah.
When we get there, there's somebody I want to go see. Would you be able to just could you make me look like me?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Looking at Clack, who looks identical to Clack, because Finnan doesn't like.
That's great.
I don't like.
Because I can't meet.
No,
my friend.
absolutely,
Looking up for
absolutely.
this?
Yeah, no, 100.
That'd
No,
be
100%,
crazy.
100. I totally agree. No,
I just
I
don't want her to
can
get
drop it.
confused and-
No, for sure.
Nebby's like
Everyone
looking
in
at
the body just looks at Clack, and he looks exactly like Clack.
Nebby's like looking at herself in like a reflection, and she goes,
I think this is what my son's going to look like when he's older. Oh, that's
Probably,
nice.
yeah.
"That's nice."
Yeah.
Except I still sound like myself, right?
If anyone wants to like not be this, because I don't want
Oh,
to like
no,
force
this
this up
is-
on anyone, but
this is
this just
fine.
seemed like the easiest kind of like make us look like us, but not quite us. I just did a flip. But if anyone's like, hey, I want to just look like someone different, I can also make that happen.
This is fine for
I
me.
have to know,
Okay.
does Callie have facial hair?
No.
Really? I feel like Callie would have like a 9 o'clock shadow, like one of those like like Henry Cavill style,
Like those
facial hair,
Snapchat
where it's like,
filters.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
the stubble.
I feel like
there's,
Callie
the
just.
like not a beard or anything, but like that.
I don't think I've
that's-
ever really thought about
I
it.
think
Double.
Mask Callie looks like Henry Cavill, and I'm very here
Yeah.
for that.
I also
Oh, yeah.
think that Kale is an upsettingly attractive redheaded, like just like beautiful, like
I'm getting like Marjorie. I'm
distractingly
getting like
so.
Marjorie Tyrell vibes. That's what I'm getting.
Yeah.
Amazing. I love
Yeah.
it. What does Letters look? I must know. What does Letters look like as a lady Minotaur?
I think again the whole like Finnan with Clack having a hard time. I think that Letters just kind of looks like Blue Ribbon because that's like the like he's just like I don't really know Minotaurs that well. It's like Blue Ribbon but with Letters coloring.
I like
Tim.
that.
I don't know.
I guess it's under the armor, so you'll never know.
So we
Well, all right. I can take us right to the Teds. So if we all join hands, I've got my little totem for Sigil, which is the little door. I'm going to hold on to that as we all grab hands. And unless anyone says anything else, 3, 2, 1, we head to Sigil.
know what
Amazing.
You know what else I
So-
got at level 17?
What did you get?
I got my 4th spell slot.
Hey.
Whoa,
That's
dude.
big. That's big.
4 big ones. So you
Baby boys
arrive
growing up.
just outside the Elemental Defense Society, or TEDS, as you know it, in the city of Sigil. Again, that donut-shaped city that seems to defy gravity as you watch as people kind of walk up, right up and over top of you in this large city, kind of floating in this kind of open void. And you can see people are kind of bustling around as always, and you can see the gate to the building is open, and you guys head inside, and you can see again the kind of large portals behind the desk, and you see your familiar friend Benton, the finch-like Aarakocra, and he goes, "Oh, it's good to see you all. Oh my goodness, I'm so surprised." To what do I owe the pleasure? And he kind of hops off his stool, and he's quite a bit shorter from where he was sitting.
Hello, Benton. Thank you so much. I'm glad you recognized us, and that was okay.
Oh yeah, of course. I just assumed just to sort of make up, and Clack is a dead giveaway.
And he goes, oh, what are you talking about? I can't believe this. I look at this is not... He's just
Right, Clark? I listen, I'd hardly recognize you. It's wild.
We would like to travel through the portal to the water elemental plane.
Oh, okay. What you wish to go to the plane of water? Do you have some manner of breathing or underwater breathing capability?
We do, yes. Letters has a spell of water breathing that he can use on us.
I can grow gills.
Oh, that's helpful.
I also have these, and I'm going to pass out to everyone. Everyone has their own Caraxian breathing mask. So these are magical. So they will not work in an anti-magic field.
Yeah, of course.
But this is Emma saying this to everyone. But if water breathing wears off for some reason, then
Finn won't need one then if they're magical, because I cast Alter Self at will.
Okay, great. Well, everyone has one, and we have one extra in case we need it.
I'll put it on my belt.
Yes.
As like, where you put your mask on the plane, and then you put one just in case someone needs like an extra, like something like their mask gets lost. He's like ready to put it on.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Clack also steps forward.
I think you should keep it. If you guys are all right with this, I'd love to stay here while you're there. That's a lot of water for me.
No, that's fair.
And I would just slow you down. I can't swim.
Here, and I'm gonna put it on my belt again. Be like, I can be like the emergency person because I can have gills, and I'm gonna roll my neck, and as I do, gills are gonna spread out on my neck.
I think there's someone here that I can stay with while you guys are gone. Should be fine.
Do you want me to drop?
Yeah, if you could.
And I'm gonna drop the non-illusion on Clyde.
Whew, that feels way better.
Totally different.
We've heard that there is a city in the water elemental plane.
Yes. Our portal goes to the city of Alussia. Alussia.
Apologies.
Yeah, sorry. No, it's the beak. Sometimes I lose some syllables. Yes, the city of Alussia. It's, I will say, it is very uncommon for them to have outside travelers. So I would expect to be questioned when you arrive.
Right. Will we be looking to speak to... Well, we're looking to speak to Asticia. So...
You're looking to speak to Asticia. That's very funny.
I'm very serious, Benton.
We just talked with Garrick, so next on the list.
Okay. Oh, yes. I did hear some rumblings about that. That is going to be a bit of a headache for us at the Defense Society because we're going to have to keep an eye on that now that he's awake, but that's okay.
There might be a shifting in the paradigm at some point.
Yes.
Okay.
It'll come to the line.
I'm just going to make a note of that. He hops up back to his desk. And you see he kind of starts scrawling on a scroll. But you want to speak to Asticia. Well, I mean, I guess the Alussia would be the place to go. That is, that's sort of the capital city of the Plate of Water.
Wonderful.
Yeah, as far as somebody an audience, I'm not really sure.
Well, I've seen her before. So perhaps I can just send to her and ask.
Yes.
If I could presume such. Perhaps speak with a priestess or someone.
Would there be like a temple of Asticia in the city?
Well, sort of. They work under sort of a god king kind of situation. So the king is appointed by Asticia. So the kind of hierarchy in the church is sort of interrelated. So perhaps if you could get
who is the king currently?
King Magnus Deeprun.
Oh.
That's a problem.
I'm also assuming that we have telepathic bond on because letters wouldn't have let us leave without it.
Oh yeah.
Neppy would say in all of your heads, we killed Delis Deeprun at the Battle of the Docks in Wulfrene.
That's not great.
No, it's not. If Magnus is the king, then he is who we should seek out an audience with. That is very good to know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say in head speech. I could probably take the lead on that because I wasn't involved. Just potentially.
Probably a good idea. That's probably a very good idea. Yes.
You should know they're quite a rigid society. They hold their sort of class system very tightly. So,
is there a physical representation of class? I can change my body at will. So if there's a way that I can look, that'll maybe grease the wheels a bit. That would be helpful.
Not as much, although from the brief time I have been there, most of the nobility tend to have frills as opposed to hair. But generally it has to do with station and job.
Right. Not like how deep they can swim or anything.
No.
Okay.
And we're looking at tritons and sea elves, I'm assuming?
It is only tritons.
Only tritons.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, it is a monoculture.
A monoculture, right.
My hair's gonna turn into frills, and my fingers are gonna become webbed. I'm gonna kick my boots off, put them in my bag. My toes are also webbed because Alter Self doesn't just give me a breathing. One sec, sorry. It doesn't just give me a breathing. It also gives me swim speed.
Nice.
Amazing. Why don't we see Clack off, and then we can. Is there anything we need to do here in Sigil? I don't think it's safe to leave this building.
I should also see, I did hear some rumors about a bit of a dust up. I would just be aware that breaking the law in Sigil is taken very seriously, and it tends to work on sort of a strike system. So if you do gain too many strikes, I will say there can be deployment of certain creatures to track you down across the plains.
Yes, I think we're on at least 2 strikes.
That is the rumor. Yes, that's the rumor going around.
Well, I'm appreciative of your extending hospitality.
Oh, of course. The Ted's remained neutral. That's our motto. One of our mottos. We have several.
I can't wait to hear the rest another time. Is there anything else anyone would like to do here before we go through the portal? Or if there is a fee or anything we can do, Benton?
Well, we always accept donations. I mean, it is purely a volunteer organization, so donations are always welcome.
I'm obsessed with
upkeep, and we hold an annual fundraiser. If you're ever interested in making an appearance, I'm sure you'll be able to move a lot of tickets.
I'll put 100 golds on the table and be like, that's for the organization, and I'm going to put 75 gold down and be like, and that's for you, Benton. You've been a lot of help.
Oh, this is too kind, please.
I'll put another 100 down as well.
Yeah, that's...
Kale, Callie, do you need anything?
No, I'm all good.
I'm good too.
All right.
Tim, I forget, did we long rest since we got back from...
Yes. Yeah, you have long
Okay.
rested. Yeah.
Level spell slot, baby.
Baby.
All right. Well, Benton, this has been wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
And I can shift us out. But if we happen to take the portal back, is it a 2-way or is it 1-way?
Yes, you can do it both ways. We do have a representative who oversees the portal there in the city. So you could always speak to her, and she should be able to bring you back as well if you so desire.
Benton, what honorific is most appropriate when addressing the King Magnus Deep Run?
Your Royal Highness,
Your
typically.
Royal Highness. Okay, thanks. So, like, Your Majesty, there's a lot, but Your Royal Highness, that's good.
Your Royal Highness. I mean, I have never spoken to Magnus Deep Run. I am too lowborn, and I have feathers, so you won't. I've never been granted an audience, but I've also never sought an audience. So, but I would assume so. It's something along those lines, or
Great.
his deepness. I don't know.
I'll investigate further once we're in the city. I think
That would be wise.
your help is appreciated.
I would look to letters. Let is probably a good time for water breathing on all of us.
Oh yeah.
And
He
I think
just points it out.
that's 24 hours, if I remember correctly.
I think it's is it?
8.
Yes.
I think it's only 8.
Oh, is it 8?
Water breathing?
Nope, it is 24 hours.
Oh, dang. Is it concentration or just
It
24?
is not. It is a ritual spell. And it is 24 hours.
Ritual.
It's a
Nice.
ritual spell as well?
Yes, it is.
Yo, that's
Makes
spice.
sense though. It makes sense. Yeah. It can't. Yeah, that makes
Third
sense.
level ritual spell. All right. Neppy keeps her Caraxian breathing mask around. Shall we? And we
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
through.
Later, guys.
And
Boy, Clack, have fun.
At that. All right. So you arrive as you kind of step through the portal, this kind of bluish, wavy portal. You step through, and you feel immediately as you step into water, and you arrive on the other side in kind of a smallish room. You can see there is kind of an archway on the other side, as like a Benton kind of comes through with you and kind of waves and then leaves back immediately. As you see an older Triton woman, you can see with kind of long, like grayish hair, kind of in like a long plate. And she kind of like swims over around the desk. And you hear kind of like through the water, her voice comes through fairly clearly in your ears. And she goes, "Hello there. I am Dolata. It's a pleasure to meet you all.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Delata.
What is your business here in Alussia?"
We seek an audience with His Royal Majesty, King Magnus Deepran.
I see.
With the intention, and I looked to Nebby to see if I should see it, with the intention of seeking an audience, ultimately with Justitia.
Oh,
We bring word from her siblings.
I see. Well, I'm afraid I do not have any direct contact with the kingdom, but I would suggest perhaps asking around at the House of Pearls.
House of Pearls.
Yes, it is a local gathering spot. And many folks of all caste are permitted to mingle.
Right. Thank you. That is appreciated. Well, we will be on our way. I'm appreciative of your time.
Of course. And should you require something a bit easier to maneuver around on, there is a place where you can procure a mount, a hippocampus.
Oh. Wonderful. Thank you.
Yes,
That is
that's really
appreciated.
useful.
And
We will
speak
probably
to
need those.
Fasten
Fasten.
at the sea stables.
The 6 tables. Perfect. Good. Thank you. This is all very helpful. Delota, thank you.
And you kind of swim out of this room in this building. You kind of come out into, for the lack of a better term, the street. Although there is no actual street. The like between buildings is all demarcated with kind of lush green seaweed and coral. You can see kind of reefs lining the kind of all of the alleyways between buildings. And you can see it is a very large city as you kind of like swim up to get a better view. You can see there are a number of very tall buildings and folks kind of swimming all the way through. And you can see at the edges it looks to drop off. It almost looks as you kind of swim up and get a better view in this kind of like aquamarine light, you can see that the whole city rests on a giant slab of rock that is kilometers across. And you can see beyond that, it kind of drops off into darkness.
This would fit with what we learned about the fact that the city just went into the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
That was near Athel's calamity. that the city was it pushed into the ocean? What can you remind me of what?
It sank into the ocean.
Sank, right?
Yeah, or was brought into the ocean.
And that was due to the Caraxians, correct?
You don't fully know. You didn't get the full story out. Like, you know where it happened at Athos Calamity, but you don't exactly know how it happened.
While we were kind of away from everyone, might be an idea to keep our Caraxian breathing masks in our bags. It
Not
might
a bad idea, yeah.
Might, as long as we have water breathing, might be an idea to keep any sort of technology that looks evocative of the Caraxians out of sight, but have them as a backup, just in case.
For sure.
And you can see the buildings themselves seem to all be made out of kind of a like smooth black stone inlaid with beautiful copper designs. As the whole city, like the city itself, the stonework looks very old. And you can see where along like large swaths of it, you can see where coral reefs have started to grow on parts of the buildings itself. It's as if it like the sea has reclaimed this somewhat. And you can see at the like near the center of the city, or kind of near the outer, closer to the edge, where you can see that kind of drop off and like into kind of darkness. There is a huge palace that like sits at least, you know, a few hundred feet higher than the next tallest building. And there is kind of a big perimeter around it of like walled off, not dissimilar to Wulfrene in that way, where the kind of like the Gatestone Keep is walled off in the like inner part of the city. But this is kind of fully ringed around. And you can see there are kind of like 3 large towers. It's quite ornate and beautiful. And you can see there are what look like soldiers that swim kind of all the way up and down the whole thing. That seems to be pretty regularly patrolled.
Of us, does anyone else have a swim speed? So Finnan would be doing that, like that either kid or dog thing where you get too far ahead and then you come back, and then you get too far ahead and then you come back. Finnan's got a swim speed, so he keeps like pulling ahead and then being like, oh, swimming back. Doing the trip twice, essentially.
I would have had to take my armor off, my heavy armor.
It would have been wise to do that, yeah. It would be quite a bit more difficult to swim with your heavy armor on.
Coolio.
So yeah, you've taken that off.
I will take mine off as well for now.
I will take mine off as well.
Okay.
Beans.
I know I got a bad AC right now. What's
Sorry
that?
to shoot us all in the foot.
No. It okay. That would mean my AC is with my shield, plus my dex. Ooh. Yeah, baby girl's at like a 13.
Yeah, I'm at a 12.
Armor.
How do I know what my AC is?
10 plus your dexterity.
10 plus my dexterity.
It's your shield.
And plus
You still have your shield.
+2, yeah.
I still have my shield is plus
shield's
2.
Plus your shield's +1 on shield though, isn't it?
So I think it's +3.
I'd
have to.
I thought it was a +3 shield. Yeah, it is a +3.
No, just a shield mode basic is +2, but I think
it's a +1 shield, right?
No, neither of us have +1 shields.
Oh, no one has a magical shield. Huh,
Nope.
I don't know where I came up with that.
So wait, what am I? Sorry.
You'd have +2. What's your dexterity?
12 plus dex.
My dexterity is +1.
The 13.
13
You
is
and
your
me, 13.
13.
What's the light levels down here?
I would say it's dim light.
Cool.
It's like
It's
like
19 then.
you can't. There is no surface, but there is light. There is like kind of an ambient light that kind of permeates this layer of the ocean. Even though like you look above you and there are sea creatures like fish and things like that swimming around for what looks like miles and miles and miles. It doesn't seem to have an end, but yeah, there is ambient light.
My AC is, if it's dim light, my AC is decent.
Yeah.
Nippy, you said you've seen Sisha.
Yes, I have.
Where was do you know where that was?
Well, when very early on, we were sent to investigate a ruin at Sil N. This was early, before before we faced off against Zakis. What happened, I believe, was that Zak Tritons and Sawagan and a bunch of sea beings rose up. They called it the Sea That Walked, and it was a tidal wave that completely destroyed the city of Silhen. We were sent to investigate. We fell down a sinkhole, and we discovered an old Caraxian outpost below the city. We were searching through there, and we saw someone, Delnis Deeprun, who was a paladin of Asticia, and we traveled. He walked through a door, locked it behind him, and then we traveled down through a water portal, and we managed to get the door open, and we followed him, and it led us into this tunnel. There must have been at least 8 other doors, and then as we were in the tunnel, we saw a giant eye at the end, and a tentacle reached out towards us and tried to grab us. We managed to avoid it by slipping into one of the other tunnels, and we came out at the top of the continent, at least 2 months' journey from where we were before, on foot. So there was portals in and out, but I am fairly certain that was Esticia that we saw. No creature it was too large and too ominous. It must have been her.
But no indication of any sort of where she would be here.
No.
From what you saw, you just saw the eye.
I just saw the tunnel and nothing else. It was Kelly and I were both there, with nothing else, just the tunnel. But that was almost 3 years ago now. So it has been some time. I could not locate those tunnels. I'd have no idea where they are. Which is why the city's probably our best bet. Try to go through the official channels at least.
Tim, with survival, I also wouldn't be able to, if I did a survival check, would I be able to figure out where those tunnels are?
You could try to kind of get your bearings as to where you are.
I would love to try and do that.
Yeah.
I have to try and get my bearings where my dice are, though, so give me a second. Sorry.
This is great underwater music, Tim.
Oh, I found lots of underwater music.
I bet.
Wait.
I am going to. No, I'm not going to. I'm not wearing my armor, but I'm not going to unattune to it, if that makes sense. Or if I take it off, do I just automatically unattune to it?
If you put it in the bag, yeah, you unattune.
Oh, yeah, I'd have to put it in the bag. So, yeah, I unattune to it. Okay. Sweet. Okay. Callie's taking a look for stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, take your time. No, you're doing great.
That is 24.
Kind of look around, and you don't see like anything beyond the city that would look like any kind of outcropping. So you're not totally sure how far away those tunnels were from the city. You get the sense that it probably wasn't like you only kind of got an eye out.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not exactly sure from where you are. It's difficult to tell. The water was a bit colder. That's the only thing that is kind of pinging for you, is the water was a bit colder than than the water is now.
Would Callie share any of that with us?
Any information I get, Kelly shares. Yeah, I relay any information.
So that probably would have been a bit deeper, you feel? Something like that? Potentially.
Yeah.
Right.
Makes sense, yeah.
Well, shall we go to the place that was suggested? Perhaps we can try and see if she talked about people of all different castes mingling.
It's worth a check, yeah.
Right. And Finnan, you are nobility, technically.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Callie is nobility,
I'm
technically.
a landed noble, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that is to be seen. I think there might be a trial. We'll see what happens. I don't know, to be honest. I
Right.
might be inheriting land, but also the name. It's 2 days ago. Yes, the answer would have been yes. Today, it's a little more complicated. So,
Right.
but for the purposes of arguments, yeah, yeah.
I'm nobility for Kamea, right? That's where I get my nobility from. I have so many questions just for clarification. Where we were at the dock. The person we're gonna go meet is related to the person at the docks that we
Same
killed.
last name, yeah. Deep Run.
I don't know if we want to share who I'm nobility for. Kamea was also at the docks.
That's a very good point. That's a very good point. Right. I was also there at the docks. Neither Finnan nor Kale was. And Delnus Deepran's skull currently resides at my temple.
I think I killed Delnus, is the thing.
I think so, yes. And I absolutely killed the priestess of the Istishia.
Would the death of Delnus be associated with Blackwater, or was
We were an unnamed group of adventurers at that point.
That's my thinking, because you became Blackwater around the time that I joined.
We became Blackwater walking away from the last battle after Torin died. After we buried him.
So perhaps it's I can still take the lead because I had nothing to do with it, but I did kill. That's who I was fighting. That's before I met you.
We also don't know that any of those people had anything to do with the people down here.
True.
It could have been zealots.
I was down by the water, and it was some fire elemental things, but it was mostly water.
And Sawagan, yes.
I've killed a few, but I can happily take the lead and.
Well, unless we get Zone of Truth, perhaps we just don't lead with that.
Well, no, of course. We also don't know what the relationship to that faction is within the city, so maybe it's fine.
Let's head down. No use sitting up here and stewing about it.
No, absolutely.
All right.
Does anyone need like a lift? I can bring a friend. I can make a friend that can speed us around. Because I can swim pretty fast down here, just because of my webbing and stuff.
Well, perhaps after we go to the House of Pearls?
House of Pearls.
The House of Pearls. Perhaps after we go to the House of Pearls, we go to the sea stables and get ourselves some mounts.
I can also make ocean facts.
Ocean facts.
Yeah.
Wave facts. Yes.
Tidal facts.
Tidal.
Wet facts.
There it is.
No.
We got that.
That's the name. We found it eventually.
We found it.
Fluid facts. No, that's what.
No.
That's deeply bad.
That's worse. Yeah, I suppose we start our swim down to wherever the House of Pearls is.
Okay. As you swim down into the city and begin kind of moving through the streets, with your passive perception, Finn and Neppy, you both notice that you are getting a lot of looks. Almost everybody you pass by is like kind of side-eyeing you. And very quickly, within maybe 10 minutes of kind of swimming through the streets, as you're sort of looking through, a few things you notice. You notice, again, with your passive perception, there's no signs to anything. There's no kind of outward facing signs for things. It appears to be like you can see that trade and things like that are going on, but it seems like people just know where those things happen. It's not like they're necessarily advertised, because people who live here, they know where everything is. And the other thing is you also notice a contingent of guards begin to kind of descend upon you all. There's about 6 of them that swim up from behind you. And you hear, halt.
And in my head, diplomacy. Diplomacy.
Of course.
And you
Hello
see
there.
the kind of like familiar armor that you recognized, similar to Delnis's, obviously, but much more functional than his. Was quite ornate and imposing. This is a bit more functional, but you can see that kind of like those sort of seashell themed kind of armor plating. As they swim up to you, you can see they all have helmets as well.
Hello. Would it be better for us to converse in Aquan? Because I can make that happen, but just out of respect. But was that something?
We speak common as well. But thank you.
Oh, of course. We are strangers to your city, and we want to make sure that we show the utmost respect to your people.
If you would accompany us to the barracks.
Of course.
And you watch as the rest of them kind of flanking around behind you, and they kind of lead you a little ways back from where you came.
Could I try to make like amicable small talk with the captain to just kind of like, essentially what I'm trying to do is, I think in this situation, like the person in charge is usually quite on edge, and I want to just kind of like smooth that. I just want to relax that a little bit as just chatting, like asking like things about the city and like doing like kind of touristy stuff, being like, oh, like if there's any building that's like particularly visually appealing, I'll like ask questions about it. Just like real small talk. How long have you been with the guard? Like, how's day to day? Like, is it? Yeah.
I will have you make a charisma check for me. Just
Not a persuasion check.
No, this is just a charisma. This is just
fair,
your
that's fair,
natural
fair.
charisma.
That is fair. That is a 17, so 12
Okay.
plus 5.
So you talk with him a bit. He seems, he does ask you relatively early on, like, what house do you belong to? Kind of like, and you can see his eyes kind of narrowing in on your, like the frills and things like that on your head.
I don't belong to a house. I'm from the prime material plane. But I breathe air normally, and so I have a spell that allows me to breathe water, and it changes how I look. Apologies if there's been any confusion in that. I hope I didn't.
No, it's understandable.
I can change it if it's like stepping on any toes or.
It's all right.
Okay, I just want to make sure that everything is smooth and going well.
Of course. Right this way. And you manage to talk to him a bit and get a bit of that small talk going. But he does seem fairly kind of like procedure oriented. As you get led into a larger building, you can see again, there doesn't seem to be any like, at least from this part of the city, you've seen like hard doors. Everything seems to be kind of archways. As you kind of swim through another archway into a larger building, you can see, and there's a number of guards kind of stationed around the building, and kind of inside as well. You can see there is some training going on as they kind of bring you down. I'll need all of your names and what your business here is.
Finnan, you can probably drop the seeming if you have not already.
Oh, I would have dropped the seeming before we
Okay.
came through the portal. Yeah,
Right.
everyone would look like they're themselves.
I am High Priestess Nepenthe, Lightkeeper of Her Grace Nephthisiket.
And you can see one of them is kind of like is scribing. It's very interesting though. Like you've never seen anything kind of. They don't use ink in the same way. It seems to be like a tablet of some kind that they're using, like some kind of coral that's making the marks.
I am Finnan Lachlan Theman Alric Aganis of the House Aganis, but I go by Finnan Bariel these days.
Kind of nods, looks over at letters, gives his name. Letters Blackwater.
I'm Calliope Skysinger.
Okay. I'll have
Kale.
Kale. Do you have a last name?
Yes, Salad.
Sit down.
I love how infrequently the last name, the fact that his name is Kale Salad.
Gets me every time. It gets me every time.
When he just said Kale, I was like, is his last name not Salad? Is that a thing I've created in my own memory?
And his parents, Basil and Rosemary Salad.
I will have Finn and Neppy both make perception checks for me, please.
Sure.
Me and Kale just vibing. Yeah, everything seems normal.
26.
Hey!
Ooh, high five through the internet.
You both notice as the scribe is kind of writing down, when Callie said her last name, the eyes immediately flicked up and then back down.
Whoops. I should have lied.
In my head, you hear,
They've clocked your last name, Kelly. Just so we know.
And what is your business here?
We are seeking an audience of great importance. We must speak with Asticia about something that could impact not just this plane, but many others.
You wish to speak to a goddess?
Yes.
We bring word from her siblings, whom we have already spoken with.
Why didn't they come themselves?
They are
Forgive
unable
her.
to leave their planes, but that may soon be changing.
Very well. How long will you be in the city?
As long as it takes to speak with Asticia. That's all
If
we
that-
need is to speak with Asticia, and then we will be gone.
If that means we travel outside of the city, we will make our way of our own accord. We do not seek any special treatment that way.
You may have to. I have never seen her myself. I don't know that she's visited the city in quite some time.
I have had the fortune of seeing her once. I hope to see her again.
Would an audience with His Highness, the King Magnus Deep Run, would that help point us in the right direction, or is it something we should just...
You wish to speak to King Deeprun?
If he is willing to hear from us, yes.
That is... Well, good luck. He's not an easy man to speak with, and I have no authority there.
We come ignorant of your culture and customs, so we don't want to do anything that could upset anyone. But we do come with grave importance. And I respect that you don't have the capacity to make that happen, but if you can point us in the right direction, it could save many lives.
Well, the best I can offer, I'll have you make a persuasion check for me.
34.
Yes. You seem serious in your intent, and to
We are.
come all of this way is a feat in itself. We do not have many outsiders visit our city.
This past
That
month
is-
we have traveled far.
It is by design. So the best I can offer you is that I will send word to my superior.
That is
It
much
is a-
appreciated.
Very appreciated, yes.
Hopefully your message continues up the chain. While you are in the city, please do not speak out of turn. Do not cause any trouble.
Of course.
Of course not.
Is there... Sorry, Nappy, please.
Pardon, perhaps this is something we should have tried to figure out earlier. If I am assuming that the message moving up the chain will take some time, and of course it takes as much time as it needs to, is there a place that we would be granted permission to stay with coin for payment, of course?
The House of Pearls is your best bet.
Wonderful. We were
It was
given
our location. Yeah.
we were given directions to there by the from the portal where we entered.
I would advise you not to stray too far from the building.
Understood. Are there any local customs that we should be aware of that we might not know, being outsiders?
When speaking to a superior above your caste, do so with the utmost care and respect.
And at a glance, how would one determine caste in the city? As we are outsiders, where do we fall within the hierarchy?
It depends on your profession. Your priestess would likely be given slightly more deference. You are of a house.
I'm a noble, yeah.
You will be given more deference as well.
That is appreciated. We are very gracious for your guidance and your time.
If you're unsure, assume they're of a higher caste.
Of course.
Of course.
It is most of nobility, is it not?
Mm-hmm.
We appreciate your aid in this. The last thing we want is to leave anyone offended by our presence.
Of course.
May we know your name?
Yes. My name is Elmides.
Elmides. And I'm going to say quite quietly, because we're in the room with other people, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
I'm going to say kind of quietly enough that Elmides, only really Elmides can hear. Be like, Elmides, you've been such a help. If there's anyone we can mention your name to and tell them what a boon you've been to us and the city, please let us know.
Well, should you speak to my superior, a compliment is always appreciated.
I'll be sure to let them know.
I'm just doing my job.
Quite
I will allow you to keep your weapons for now, but should they be drawn against any of our citizens, they will be confiscated.
We will keep them stored.
Elmides, I have a weapon that doesn't... I'm going to summon my sword. Should I wear this on my hip, or can this exist and I put it back in its pocket space?
Keep it away. But again, if you raise arms, I suppose we'll have to cut off your hands.
That tracks. But I just want to make sure that, concealed weapon and whatnot, I want people to...
I appreciate you divulging that.
Yes,
watch the scribe kind of writes that down.
Well,
I'm going to summon it back and I'm just going to buckle it onto my hip.
We do not wish to take up more of your precious time. We will make our way to the House of Pearls and await, hopefully, good news.
He kind of gestures over to some of the guards. They'll escort you.
Thank you.
We appreciate that.
Appreciate it.
All right. And you are seen out by 3 guards as they kind of lead you down back towards where you were going, and they kind of veer you off into another part of the city, and you come to a fairly large kind of rounded building. You can see there's a few kind of smaller buildings that are attached to it. You can see not originally, but they have been coral has kind of grown up around into these 2 other smaller buildings. So it's quite large, and there's kind of like a front area, almost like a patio. And you can see there's all these archways. You can see right inside to the building. That is kind of like the main building is like a squat tower. It's probably about 3 stories high, with all these kind of large archways. And you can see there are all manner of Triton here. You can see a number of them with artisan tools and things like that. You see a number of what look like off-duty soldiers. There's a whole host of folks. Some in more kind of woven finery that looks like woven of seaweed and things like that. And you can see they are all being served from these large bowls. There is some food as well. You can see kind of shellfish and things like that going around. But a lot of them are holding these kind of large, kind of softish pearl-like things. They're of different colors, and you can see they're popping them whole into their mouth. They're about the size of a golf ball would be.
I would adjust my clothing to become more formal. So Finna never looks underdressed, but this is the cut will be very much like what I would have worn as a teen going to court, essentially. Okay. It's really formal and finery.
Yeah. And again, you see a lot of side looks, but the looks that you're getting here are a little bit more even though it's like curious but kind of like interested, it's less sort of wary. It's a little bit more like, oh, like there's just a general atmosphere of it's a bit more lighthearted in this part of the city.
I'll also adjust. I'll go back to Finnan, like hair and stuff. I just have the gills and the webbed toes and feet, but I'll go back to like a more human looking appearance as we swim in.
Yeah. Point of check. Does anyone remember what we did with Delnus's sword or paddle? I know we sold his shield. We sold his shield, and we definitely sold his shield
and his armor too. I think you had it at one point, but
the Mariner's armor.
Away. Yeah.
No. The Delnus Deeprun's armor.
It was like Mariner's armor.
It was Mariner's armor. I think
they went to Nissa.
I think Nissa wanted to study it, and I think
it would be a safe bet that the paddle went with the armor then.
Paddle went with the armor, but we sold the shield because it was dragon. Yeah. It was a dragon turtle scale shield, and we sold it for 10,000 gold pieces.
Nice bit of kit.
It was a nice bit of kit. Yeah. Okay. Great. Good. In my brain hole. That's great.
All right.
Okay.
You head inside, and you can see it is much busier, and folks are kind of swimming all up. Like you can see there's like tables that are sort of affixed to the inner parts of this tower that go all the way up, and folks kind of swimming up and down. And in the center, around like a center column, there is the sort of bar area, and you can see it is like there are large barrels with kind of like woven lids, and you can see as like orders are coming down, they're grabbing these pearls from these various barrels, and you can see there is one woman kind of in the center sort of directing everything, and she's got like deep blue hair and light green skin, and you can see she's kind of directing everyone, as you also see there is a couple of bards. One looks to have kind of a harp almost, and the other is playing like a kind of like this long, almost looks like a razor clamshell.
In Headspace, I think we're gonna find our best bet if we cover what we're good at here. None of us are bad at talking to people, so I think if we kind of play to our strengths, Kale, if you can talk with the bards and the kind of I'm trying to think of a phrase that's common folk that isn't offensive to Kale. The bards and that sort. Callie, do you want to be married to the Queen Calliope, or do you want to be party Queen Callie?
Married to the Queen.
Okay, so I am gonna go talk with some of the noble looking folk from the higher up. So if you want to come with me on that.
I will take the letters, and I will take the religious folks.
If you can find some, yeah.
If there are
and
any, yeah.
Gail, added to your list, because I was going to have Party Queen Callie do it, but added to your list is the bartenders. Bartenders know everything.
You would notice that the nobility and the religious folks seem to be one and the same. It seems to be that is part of their.
Then we all go together.
Their sort of nobility caste.
What exactly are we trying to find out?
The heartbeat of the city for one, and then
I think we need to find out if there is likelihood. I don't know if we want to go broadcasting our intentions with everyone. I think we should be quite chaste with who we say that to.
So we don't want to be asking people.
Can we speak
about
to the king?
Astucia?
No.
I think it's a safe bet that we find the tone of the city first. Find the right.
My thinking is just if I ask around, people might be willing to tell stories of where they believe she is or where Astucia might reside.
I think you would.
There must be rumors, and
you would probably have more luck with that than anybody in nobility.
I think so, especially talking with the bards. You might be able to ask like
where the stories say.
You've heard stories and you're curious about it. That kind of angle. I can help you with that if you want. I don't have to do the noble stuff. We've got that pretty well covered.
No. You guys take care of the nobles, and I'll take care of everyone else. Okay.
It's not like it's okay.
By the way, Kale is not wearing his armor, and so he's just got his like undershirt on, which is like a sleeveless,
Amazing.
like white, like think like Knight's Tale, Heath Ledger Knight's Tale.
Ayo.
Sort of like
Truly embodying the wet t-shirt.
in a
Double
and it's
dang.
clinging.
And the pressure
Yum.
down here.
Because a lot of Finnan's clothes is either magically created or illusion, it's weirdly dry looking. Because like a lot of it is either alter self or like illusion. So yeah,
Nebby's in big robes that are like drenched and heavy, and
Yeah,
that gives me
flow
that
a
like
lot while you move.
yeah, that gives me that like
my hair is probably so
No,
big.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think I've ever thought
Yeah.
of what like Callie wears under her armor, because usually when she's off, like in Wulfrene, she's in like dresses and stuff, but I don't know what she wears under her armor.
I immediately, I'm
Lulu's
so
in a sports
sorry.
bra.
When you said when my armor's off, I was gonna be like, well, there's only a couple times when your armor's truly off.
I also thought the same
That's where
thing.
my brain went.
My brain went, yeah, you're
Like
naked.
dressing gowns and things like that.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna go see if I can try to or whoever's coming with me, I'm gonna start making my way over to the, not assuming that I have any sort of audience with these people, but going to try and find my way to talk to someone who looks of a similar level of caste as me, being a
Okay.
priestess.
You can make a perception check to see.
I'm gonna cast guidance on myself as I do
All
so.
right.
And part of being a priestess, or part of being having the
Mhm.
acolyte background, is that you can gain audience with any religious figure.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I know you know that, but I am just reminding you that folks
Don't
don't.
I have a thing that does that for nobles though. What's my thing for nobles? I can't remember.
The nobility
It's like-
background.
You produce like an
Yeah.
order of like a certificate of nobility to say that you're legit. That's going to be a
Yeah.
24.
Okay.
Oh, I'd forgotten. Tim, during
Mm-hmm.
his travels, we changed Finnan's background to folk hero
Mm-hmm.
because he traveled so much amongst the
Okay.
common folk and helped out. So he is technically a noble, but again, it's complex. So I don't have any.
Layer.
Inbuilt thing.
Mm-hmm.
I have rustic hospitality though.
So yeah, you kind of look around and you see there is a table kind of closer to the top that seems to have several folks. It looks kind of like it looks to be two femme presenting, two mass presenting. You can see them kind of laughing about something. And they do look like they are in kind of more finery. You can also see that one of them has like a larger kind of pendant around their neck that you can see is like the head of it almost looks like not dissimilar to a kraken head, but more angular. And you can see there, like from that, there's all these sort of tentacles that sort of flow out from it, but they're like separate bits of chain, so they kind of float in the water around, and they're decorated with jewels and pearls and things like that.
I would gingerly approach the table with like a curtsy of reverence and bowing my head. Pardon me, if I am not intruding. I am looking to speak to someone who is of a pious nature. I wish to seek audience, if possible.
Make a persuasion check for me, please.
Do I get a set advantage because I'm a priestess too?
No, because you're an outsider.
Okay, all right. At least it's not a disadvantage.
Not a disadvantage.
Okay.
You look
I look what?
very different from most of the folks around here. So
I do.
it's,
I do. It's a 22.
22. Okay. They kind of like, they look intrigued as one of the women kind of looks like, well, you're in luck. We are all of religious persuasion.
Well, I am in good company.
Well, I'm afraid everyone in the city is of religious persuasion.
Yes. Vestigia. That's wonderful.
Of course.
As you can tell, I am not from here.
Yes, do tell. Where are you from?
May I sit to join you?
Of course. There is no there's no seats. They're literally just floating around a table.
Oh, they're just floating. Well, then I would.
Please, and they kind of move and open up a space for you.
Am I alone at this
They
point?
all float down here.
Everybody floats down here.
Everybody floats?
I hate
Yeah,
that.
No
Jay,
thanks.
Come float with me.
My name is High Priestess Nepentha Lightkeeper. I am from the Materia Plane. I originate from a desert, if you'd believe.
You must feel a little out of place.
Very out of my depth. And
Ooh, good like introducing yourself small talk joke. It's a good icebreaker. Well done.
Do you know who's really good at small talk?
That's good.
Makes
That was
friends
quick.
like that.
And may I ask, who do I have the honor of speaking to?
My name is Selfin.
Sorry, can you say that one more time?
Selfin.
Selfin. Selfin, wonderful to talk to you. Thank you.
Lady Selfin.
Lady Selfin, of course.
Is there anyone else around the table that introduces themselves?
Yeah, they all introduce themselves. There's Lady Selfin, Lady Nira, Lord Lorengelo.
Okay.
Yes.
Selfin, Nira, and Lorengelo. Got it.
And just as you kind of came up, one of the other men kind of swam down. It looks like he was going to get more drinks or pearls.
Yes.
There is a few pearls on the table too, in a little floating basket.
I am so curious. I have never seen anything like this before. What are these?
Oh, this is Fiki.
Fiki.
Try. And she kind of pulls one out of the bag.
For me? Oh, thank you.
I would try one, as would be the custom.
Okay. And you take one. I will have you make a Constitution saving throw.
Every time we go to a new plane, we always have to make Constitution saving throws against various alcohols, and that just really speaks volumes as to what we are.
It's the local
as a
drink,
party.
whatever the local drink is.
You gotta slam it
Usually,
back.
Okay.
this one's mostly just at what's your reaction to it.
That's gonna be a 16.
16. Okay, you your face contorts a little bit, but you don't totally make a disgusted face. But it is a fermented seaweed drink that's been kind of congealed into this ball, almost think like a pearl in bubble tea,
But salty and
strong
sweet.
and salty, and it's very alcoholic and very salty. It's almost like alcoholic pickle juice.
Are these boba pearls?
Yeah.
Pickleback, but boba pearls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big old boba.
Oh
of
my god.
pickleback.
My dream. This is my dream. I would.
And it kind of as you
Amazing.
bite down, there is a bit of it's not a full gusher, but it does there's a bit of juice that kind of sprays out.
How fascinating. It's delicious.
I'm glad you like it.
It's it reminds me very much. We also do something fermented at my temple. Perhaps that is a common nature amongst
Everyone likes to drink.
everyone likes to drink. Yes.
Please have as many as you like.
Thank you. I would probably have maybe one more, but if you can nurse a pearl, I would do that. There would
You take
Neppy's
small nibbles.
No, Neppy would have one to to honor the fact that she said I could have another one, but likely wouldn't take more than that. Do you want me to make another Constitution saving throw?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Okay, that's a bit better. That's going to be an 18.
Okay, yeah, the second one goes down a little easier. And you're feeling a little toasty, you're feeling a little warm. Like I said, they are strong, but they're nice.
So we met with we were escorted actually by some guards through the city who obviously were wondering what we were doing here. But we were told that this is the place to be, where folks of all sorts can what is there to do here? I see vendors. Of course, forgive me, very new. But I would love to hear about the city from your perspective. What?
Oh, well, this is really the only time we get out of the palace walls is to come to the Pearl.
You work at the palace?
Yeah, of a kind, yes.
Oh,
We are a part of the court.
Oh, wonderful. Oh yes, that is fascinating. A court,
Mhm.
of course. I have. Would you believe I've never interacted with a court, a more strict, like a proper court?
How do you conduct yourselves on the material plane?
You know, people are so divided these days. Everyone seems to partake in their own traditions, and not one thing translates to another. Would you believe I grew up inside the same walls of a temple for the first 30 years of my life?
Inside of a temple.
Yes, that was it.
Interesting.
That's all I saw.
Well, I mean, I didn't leave the court, the palace walls until I was at least 20.
You've
And the
seen
first
more
time
of
I
it.
snuck out. And they
Oh.
kind of laughed.
I've had those moments too. And I would continue to make like small talk to make myself like very deferent, very referential, somewhat like showing my we don't have to role play the rest of it.
Totally.
Showing my curiosity, and very much putting myself in a like, you are more important than me station. I am just the newcomer who knows nothing. Oh, look at my funny little customs from the material plane.
I will have
would
you
love to make them laugh. That's
Okay.
my goal.
I will have you make a performance check then.
Oh God. Okay.
Try to make them laugh. Make a performance.
Okay.
The one downside to streaming from outside is Australia. There's
I was gonna say you got
bugs.
bugs, dude.
That mosquito just tried to go
I'm just waiting
directly
for
on my eyeball.
A full bug to just take over the whole screen.
I think we'd have to stop streaming. I think that would.
I wouldn't want that. No thanks. Let's not.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
Not me.
15.
Okay. Yeah, you get a little bit of more insight on what the court is like, and that like you get a little bit of that gossip. Not a ton,
I'd
but
wanna
they do
get-
seem to, they don't mind your company.
There is one piece of thing that I would want to get is like, what is like I would, as you talk about the court of King Magnus, tell me what he's like. I've heard so much. Like, I would try and get insight into his demeanor, what he's like, what his countenance is, like who he favors also in court, because courtiers love to gossip about who's the favorite and who's not. That's what Neppy, if there's one thing Neppy can do, Neppy can read a room and read people. So that's, and if there's any like detest when they talk about someone or disgust when they talk about someone as court, because courtiers love to fucking gossip.
Okay, so with your 15, you manage to you learn a little bit that like a King Magnus is like, he doesn't really go in for the court. He's a little bit like, he doesn't like that as much. He's much more concerned about the kind of law and order. Like he's much more on that side of things. He's a bit of a traditionalist. He is very devout. And he tends to he himself favors his generals. His wife, on the other hand, is much more involved in the court. Ursa Deeprun is her name, Queen Ursa Deeprun. She is much more involved in the kind of goings on at court and the sort of influence. And she is, she's like a figure at court, but you all notice that they are kind of they are aware that they're in mixed company and they don't get too much into the gossip around the queen. But where does everybody else go?
Okay, thank you.
Callie's trying to stay. I think I would stay near Neppy. I know that people noticed my last name. Callie's trying to stay out of all trouble. Out of all trouble, just kind of hanging around, just trying to fade into the background as much as she can.
I'll have you make a stealth check then.
You don't have disadvantage.
Don't have disadvantage because you're not wearing your armor.
I don't have disadvantage. Great. And
You know how stealthy you are.
my proficiency bonus went up to a 6, so that means everything on my sheet is up by 1 then.
Yes.
Anything that you're proficient in, yeah.
Anything you're proficient in.
Yeah. I'm a proficient in stealth.
And your spell save DC and things like that will go up. And your hit, you like to hit would go up as well by 1.
Oh, okay. Cool.
And any saves you're proficient in?
21.
21. So yeah, you managed to find kind of a quiet spot on the lower level, and you do fade back a little bit, just kind of watching the musicians. And you do you get any pearls?
Probably not. Probably just gonna.
Alright.
I'm trying to
Just kinda hang
stay as.
Allie out here behaving.
They clocked my wife's last name. It's one of the things that will get her is
Alright.
someone clocking her wife.
All right. And Finnan and Kale, are you guys together? Or are you separate? Separate.
No, we probably were separated. Yeah.
All right. Well, who would like to start? Who would like to go first?
Yanis is still muted, so I'll go.
All right. Where would you like to go?
I would look for the general son's vibe, like the younger, like kind of the people, like the version of me. I am a general son, the like nobility, but military nobility, because I reckon I could tap into that like world pretty well.
Right.
Find what you're good at.
Yeah,
Find
make
what you
a
know.
Perception check for me.
Perception, which is something I'm good at. It's a plus 11. That's a 23.
23. So yeah, you find there is a you can see there is a table of what look like soldiers, but clearly there's one of them that looks much more decorated than the others. They do look like officers, like they don't look like the city guard that you guys came in with. They look more decorated already, like officers, and you can tell kind of like because of the like sort of regimented system, you can see that like a lot of that is like demarcated in their armor and like how much armor they're wearing, and like which you kind of make sense with what you've been described about Delnus. Like he was like fully kitted out in armor. And it seems like these officers do kind of like are kind of more plated, and then you can see that like the one that looks the most decorated like also has a pretty impressive helm as well that kind of comes down and out, and like you can see their weapons as well. He's got like a trident on his back that looks pretty impressive.
I would like to approach them with like the sword is very visible because it's a very impressive looking sword, just like essentially swimming forward, showing off that because I've changed my outfit. Like I'm dressed quite well. And is it a mix of like lords and ladies?
They look they look somewhat outside of the court. It looks like the court, like folks like the lords and ladies and the nobility is separate from the military class.
Right.
Like they are two separate.
Right.
He like the kind of the most decorated one though does look like he has some elements that do look a little bit more like nobility.
Okay. I'm gonna swim up and I'm gonna address him and be like, "My lord, would I be able to buy the table around? I'm new here."
I'll have you make a persuasion check.
Absolutely. And plus 17. That is 28.
28. And he kind of like smiles, and you can see he's got like kind of like thick green hair that is like kind of pulled back. And he kind of smiles. Very well.
My name is Finnan Bariel of the House of Ganis.
I'm Commandant Norris.
Commandant Norris, it's a pleasure to meet you.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Finnan. Aganis, of House Aganis. What brings you here?
Oh, well, many a thing, but honestly, I just never been, and I've been so many places that this line of work, and I kind of like make eyes with his like armor. It takes you so many places that I wanted to see this place as well. I mean, we were in the fire elemental plane like a week ago, and that was fantastic. But I must say, the city is spectacular. It's so well run, all very over. Orderly. Yeah, you could say that. Very much so.
What is your rank?
What would have been my rank as the son of a general?
Yeah, you were fairly, because you were so young, you would have been like an officer basically. Like you would have been you probably wouldn't have been a captain yet, but you would have been like a
lieutenant probably.
Yeah, lieutenant.
I'll be like, I actually don't serve the military anymore. I'm a freelancer. I do freelance
Mercenary.
work, but not quite. But it's complex. But something along those lines. It's not paid work. It's more work of necessity. I work directly for a queen. I work directly for multiple monarchs. It's I'm kind of outside the chain of command.
He kind of like eyes up your sword.
Yeah, which is an artifact of godliness.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like you've earned your stripes. He kind of like looks down at your sword.
Let me tell you, we've had some adventures, and I'm gonna kind of like break it. And I'm not gonna lie about anything.
Yeah.
I am gonna maybe embellish a few things, but like I'm gonna tell like how we killed an archdevil. Like I'm gonna like tell some of our like cooler adventures.
Yeah.
As this kind of going around and traveling and the hero's life.
I will have you make a performance check as well.
Absolutely. Let me double check what my bonus is on that.
Everyone just turning on, trying to make a good name for ourselves.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Also, thank you everyone for making us number 2 in D&D tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you, friends. That is a natural 19 for a 30.
Holy bananas.
Nice. So yeah, they seem enraptured. Like it's a roaring good time as like pearls get brought up. And you see the pearls that got brought up to you are kind of like a more milky white. You can see there is sort of like little flakes of something in them as well. Do you have one? I assume you have some.
Yeah, I would have one.
I'll have you make a Constitution saving throw for me.
Absolutely.
I like that everyone's like trying to make a name for our party, and Kelly's like, I definitely murdered someone high in power. So did my wife. So I'm not here.
There's a 19.
19. So you have it, and again, like you get that kind of hit of salt. And this one though is like much more fishy. It has kind of like this fishy aftertaste, and very alcoholic, and also your mouth is like tingly and numb afterwards.
I will try and steal. Like, I think the way Finnan interacts with people. It's been a while since he's been able to do this, and he's very much like a social puppeteer. Like he's very good at like moving the conversation where he wants it to go. And I think one of the routes he'll take, like kind of briefly pass by, is he'll be like, this job, it's not all glory and like fantastic adventures. There's been hard times as well. Kind of like as the night draws near an end, and he'll talk about like some of the tragic things that have happened with the intention of trying to see if there is anything that they talk. Like I'll talk about like a tragedy on like a citywide level or like a cultural level, like the attack on Svelen. It was the Svelen, right?
Yeah.
It was
trying.
Like what, the attack on Silen? Like
Svelen, the Raven
gotcha.
Queen one. Yeah. No. He would avoid anything that like could be minefield.
You mentioned Svelen.
Yeah, he would talk about the invasion of Svelen from the Raven Queen.
You watch as they as you mentioned that, they all like good riddance, and they all pop a pearl in.
He would take that in stride. He would like then quickly move to a different like location. But essentially what I'm trying to do is manipulate the conversation to see if they mention a prince that died. I'm trying to essentially manipulate the conversation to see if I can have them talk about a tragedy that their city has gone through.
Get more
to
info
see
on
the
that.
to see the relationship with the city and potentially Delmar. That's the
Delmas, yeah.
Delmas,
I'll have you make one more performance check then as you kind of steer the conversation.
That is a 24.
Okay. So you, as the kind of like conversation shifts, they talk about victory, and as you kind of talk about some of the L's that you've taken, essentially, and some of the harder points, the commandant kind of like, yes, we suffered some great losses in the Battle of the Wailing Bay. We at least it wasn't many of us, though. And he kind of looks at the other folks.
Was that a large campaign?
Oh yes. We brought up the entire Sahuagin reserve. Sent them into battle. We were held back ourselves as things started to turn. But
I know it's sometimes hard to know, but like from the top brass, was there plans on expanding your borders or something? What was the purpose of this push, if you don't mind me asking? Obviously,
the purpose of this
state secrets
push
and what.
was to reclaim our place on the material plane
I see. Oh, that makes sense.
we were taken from.
Right. That's fair. Makes sense. And then I would like kind of turn the I would just turn the conversation back to like kind of happier conversations, but that was the information I was looking for. So that's, yeah.
You do learn a little bit more as well. He is related. He's the nephew of General Rathine of the House Tidesteel.
I think it's
you learn there's 3 generals that kind of serve under the king.
I think at some point I think Finn would also do that kind of societal trick where he like encourages drinking but doesn't participate himself, quite subtly, to kind of loosen those social wheels. And at some point he'll be like, it would be an honor to meet your uncle, see if there's anything that I could help with. I've got a lot on the plate, but the city seems worth protecting and helping. And so anything outside of a jurisdiction, I obviously, with all respect to you and your men and your comrades, anything outside that's hard to deal with, that's my speciality. So it'd be an honor to meet your uncle at some point.
Kind of like, oh yes, well, there's always room for mercenary work. And I will have you make a sleight of hand check to see if you can kind of disguise that that drinking or the eating in this case.
Natural 16. Let's see what my sleight of hand is. That is a 19.
Nice. Hey, you managed to keep it. Yeah. They don't seem to really take too much notice. And you also, like, as through that conversation too, there is a bit of reminiscing of, like, you get a sense of from them that there is kind of a, like, if only we had gotten to land on the shores of Wulfrene, like if only we had gotten deployed, the difference we would have made. There is a bit of that. And Kale, whereabouts do you go?
Kale would make his way to the bards. Okay,
yeah. You see the harpist is kind of just finishing up. She kind of looks over.
Oh, hi. I couldn't help but admire your harp.
Thank you.
It was a beautiful set.
Thank you so much.
I'm actually I'm looking for a little bit of help, if you could possibly, if you're able.
What do you need?
I'll
have you make a persuasion check.
Ooh, I am going to use a luck point because that is a natural 1.
Oh my god.
Please go away.
No.
I like the idea of luck points being used in like social interactions, like something lucky happening to make a faux pas be not a faux pas.
Sorry, what? I missed what you said.
yeah, exactly.
That is an 18.
Okay, yeah. What do you need help with?
I'm actually a little bit of an adventurer, and I find myself down here. You see, I always would hear these stories told by bards of people going on these amazing adventures and seeing these amazing things, and I thought I need to live a life that's like those stories. And so I'm going to try and find Alussia.
You are so cute. And she you see she kind of like sweeps back her like long purple hair. She goes, and how do you plan on doing that?
Well, that's kind of what I need the help with. I mean, I figure no one seems to know where she is, and if anyone has any idea of where she could be, it would be the people who tell the stories.
Well, of course, there is one way to summon her.
How do you summon her?
There is a great old story of the tidal horn, handed down from monarch to monarch. Should the city ever need aid or an audience, one must only blow the tidal horn.
And then she comes.
So that would mean the story goes.
The king would have the horn.
Apparently. I have never seen it myself, but that is what they say. That is how the song goes.
That is very helpful. I really appreciate it. Now I gotta figure out how to meet the king.
Oh, that is no small feat.
But have you performed for him?
Not directly, no, but many who are in his orbit. I have met all manner of folk.
Well, I really appreciate your help. I won't trouble you with the logistics of meeting the king. I mean, you're busy, and but I really appreciate your help.
I might just finish my set, so I have a bit of time. But if you have to go, that's fine.
I kind of look at the rest of the group, and they're probably all still busy.
And they're all talking to people, except for Callie. Callie's kind of retreated a bit.
Wallflower Callie.
Well, maybe you could take me to the palace and show me around.
Oh, it is not that easy.
Well, you perform for...
I have performed for some in his orbit, mostly here. But
here, okay.
I can show you, or perhaps let you know who to look for.
Oh, yes.
But it does not come cheap.
Oh, and I'll pat my very tight wedge shirt that has no pockets. I don't have.
There are other ways.
I can't play an instrument.
You. Are folks in the material plane so oblivious?
No, it's generally just me.
Very well. You can make an insight check if you need to, or if you're playing dumb, I'd like you to make a performance check.
I have a wisdom of -2. You said insight?
Yeah.
What insight did I can do? Oh, that's an 8.
Yeah, you're genuinely sort of baffled as to what she's talking about. And she kind of brushes her hand through your floating hair. I don't like to be this explicit, but I have a bit of time, and I have a standing room here.
Oh yes. Oh, of course. Yeah. Let's go do that. Yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah, we've got time.
All right. So she leads you through to her room, and
I definitely wink at Callie
as you swim by.
Oh my god.
I will have you make a
performance check.
Another performance check. This is to see what kind of information you glean afterwards.
Okay.
Come on, Cal.
And that is a 22.
Okay. So as you're sort of putting your clothes back on, and it is hard because they're all wet.
Oh my god.
It's just
It's It's like when you go swimming and you have to go put jeans back on.
I
after the
can't
pool.
imagine putting clothes on underwater. That'd be so
They're just all
difficult.
floating away.
She makes it look so easy. And you
Especially
also
because,
notice all of the Triton clothes all have like toggles and buttons. Like there's
Yeah.
no like over the head. It's all like toggles and buttons.
Everything just
Like-
floats off.
Especially
It's
like
just-
medieval like breeches would be so hard to put on because they're so
Wool.
tight.
Oh, tight.
Yeah.
Just wool and salt water.
Oh God.
As she offers you, she has a bag of pearls in her room. As she offers you one, she kind of, as she's putting her dress on, you should keep an eye out for the Chamberlain, Evros Decatur. He manages Evros Decatur. He likes to come in the evening after his shift is ended, late. And he has the ear of the king and the queen as he manages their house.
What does he look like?
He is thin, tall, and he has dark black hair and 2 frills behind his ears.
Frills is upper nobility, right?
Generally speaking.
Frills over fins. Got it.
And he always wears gloves.
Always wears gloves. Okay.
Always wears gloves.
Is there I found that a lot of the sort of fancier type they're not quite so fond of talking to foreigners. Is there any sort of
Let's
way around that?
just say that Evros likes to cut loose after his shift.
Okay.
And he
He also has a standing room.
he is known to rent a room here. You could speak to the owner, Veyron, and she as she kind of gestures out to the woman who was kind of like managing everything in the bar. But he also has his fingers on the pulse of quite a bit of the city and the undercity as well.
Oh, so there's a big sort of under network at play.
Oh yes, off of the rock is what we call it, but that is where the Sahuagin live. It's so hard to say with an accent.
Sahuagin?
Sahuagin, the shark folk.
Oh.
That is where they live, in the undercity. There's a system of tunnels under the rock.
I hear tunnels, and in my brain, I sort of remember what Neppy was telling me. Is there there's a different story from where I'm from. These tunnels, they wouldn't happen to be some that lead to the material plane, would they? I don't know if we have a story of a tunnel that leads to your plane from ours.
There are old stories of incursions by soldiers from the surface world. Very, very old stories of the Caraxians infiltrating the city, saboteurs coming up from the depths. Perhaps that is what you're talking about.
And the tunnels came all the way through to I guess the top here, on top of the rock.
No, they would have probably had to have swam around the edges.
Very interesting. Well, I mean, you've been such a help. I really appreciate it. Can I? Do you ever perform on the material plane?
I have been there once or twice, but I've been meaning to put together a tour.
Well, before we go, I will introduce you to a friend of mine, Letters. He owns a fantastic bar and grill, and they're always looking for good entertainment. We can, maybe help you set up some sort of tour. He's also got other establishments.
That would be lovely. Thank you.
Oh, no
See?
problem. I
There was plenty of payment for my information.
Do you even know this woman's name?
no, I
I
don't.
love that.
I prefer it that way.
Very well. And you?
I would definitely make sure that I get her one of Letter's cards.
Yeah, Letters is at the bar
like soaking wet cards.
talking to the not the manager, but like the assistant manager
Assistant
about
to the manager.
like securing some of these barrels of pearls for both the Blackwater Bar and Grill, but also for some establishments in Dresden.
Is he trying to convince them to start having spider milk pearls down here?
He's absolutely talking about that. He's absolutely talking about the opportunity that exists, and also for preservation. He's like, this seems like a way better way to ship our spider milk across the world. So yeah, there's that conversation is also happening. It seems like a bit of a trade secret here about how they make the pearls. But you,
and then I would essentially sort of, I guess, try to round everyone back up, and
you all kind of finish your conversations around the same time, and kind of all coalesce around Callie as you're all kind of sitting there. I'll have Finn and well, everyone can make a perception check if they'd like. Callie, just because you've just been sitting here, you can make it at advantage because you've kind of just been observing the whole time.
27.
Okay.
22.
26.
23.
Okay, so you all kind of coalesce, and you see as it's getting a little bit later, some folks leaving. You also see kind of there is like an influx of new folk. Seems like there's been kind of a changing of the guard, and you see a bunch of new soldiers arrive and kind of all going up to get a drink. And you notice the scribe from earlier as he kind of heads in, and he does, like, as he kind of looks around, he does clock your table and then looks back ahead and kind of swims around to the other side of the bar.
And I don't see Chamberlain Evros
No,
come in?
you do not see Evros Decatur come in yet.
Are we staying the night here?
I don't think we're allowed to stay anywhere else, so we should probably get some rooms.
One room is good.
One room, all right. And very aware that the person who clocked Callie's name is here.
I'll also convey the information that
Mine is conveyed as well.
Yeah, mine as well.
I
was gonna wait
The city
until-
was behind mentally. I'll do it mentally.
Yeah.
The city was behind the that attitude is still present in the city, and that they want to reclaim their land.
We would inquire about a room.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Varen arranges a room for you.
And then when
20
we
gold
get-
pieces for the night.
I'll pay that
when
from party funds.
When we get to the room, one second here.
Just hit 17.
Big
So
numbers
big
are being
numbers.
rolled.
Boom, boom.
We would walk into the room, and Kale would pluck out a single strand of red hair, and he would blow it. And as the strand drifted through the water, it would sort of start to elongate, and the hair would become almost like a thin red seam that, when it hit against the wall, formed a doorway. And I will use Wish to cast Magnificent Mansion.
That is sick, dude.
And That's where we're gonna take a break.
I cannot
sick.
wait to hear what Kale's magnificent mansion looks
That
like.
is sick. Oh, it's gonna be
Oh,
debaucherous.
Shit's gonna pop off. Thank you all
love
so
it.
much for hanging out with us. We are gonna take a quick break here, but stick around. We have more good D&D coming up after the break. We have some new promo for our new campaigns coming up in the break, so take a peek for that. And also, I thought I would take this opportunity because we didn't announce it off the top. Next week, in place of our regular D&D campaign, we are having a special one shot on Saturdays in place of our main campaign. We are doing it's Adam's birthday this weekend. It is my birthday next weekend, and around here we usually do Adonis one shots for my birthday, but Adonis, he's busy. So we are doing an alternate universe Blackwater. This was an idea that we kicked around in the stream drive when we did Chatwater, and it has been living in my head rent free ever since. And this is what we're doing for my birthday. So
Rent free in Vancouver?
I know, right?
That's crazy.
It's crazy. That much brain space in my head. So we're really excited. We're all going to be playing the same characters, but it's going to be like a what if. So this is like if all of our characters had something different happen to them in their lives to bring them on different paths. So I'm super stoked about that. It's going to be a wild good time, but stick around. We will be back in about 10 minutes. So grab a beverage, maybe a pearl to chomp on, and we will be back soon. Bye.
See you
See you shortly.
Bye.
Hey guys, it's me, Adam, and I'm here to talk to you about the sponsor for tonight's episode, Legendcraft. Legendcraft is a Canadian woodworking company that makes D&D and tabletop gaming tables and accessories. They are a couple of passionate crafters that create items that will instantly become a highlight of any tabletop or RPG player's game night. An absolute favourite of mine is the Mountain King board gaming table. This table is bonkers cool, looking like it is straight out of a Dwarven King's Hall. It's really unlike anything I've ever seen. We feel really good about endorsing this Canadian business that brings so much passion into something we care so deeply about. So head over to their Instagram at legendcraft.ca to have a look at what they're making and let them know that Blackwater sent you. And if any of you fall in love with any of their amazing products, you can go to their website and use the promo code Blackwater for 5% off. It supports a Canadian business and also helps support our stream in this crazy D&D game we love. Thanks, and enjoy the rest of the show.
And we are back. We're back. As we wolf down our snacks.
We're back. So you step into Kale's magnificent mansion.
Sick.
Would you please describe it for us?
Yeah. What do you want, Spruce?
Is there a
you
dog
would
in this magnificent mansion? Please.
Yeah, all the unforeseen, the invisible servants are all visualize.
Please.
But yeah, no, you see a your tail's loud. You see a very simple sort of rustic farmhouse. Stone fireplace. Spruce. I'm busy doing a show.
It might be the first time on cam, on
I
stream.
think so.
Maybe.
We need a dog command.
Yeah.
We do.
There will be after this week. There will be a dog command.
You see
see how-
the stone fireplace, little living room. It's very sort of simple. It's very sort of rustic, very comfortable, warm, inviting. I'd say, yeah. This is something new I've been playing with, but this will sort of allow us to have a home away from home a little bit, kind of like what Yana could do.
This is so thoughtful. Thank you, Kale.
But yeah, I think we've made some headway. And then I've filled them in on most of it, but I will specifically fill them in on the old story of the tunnels. So it sounds like they are the tunnels that you saw or that you were in
Yes.
was here.
Well, and especially what with Finnan said, with the military wishing to take back their city, there's very much the sense that incursion that this was forced upon them. They were sunk.
I'll,
Had to
I'll
manage
also
that.
put forward a theory that maybe completely out of nowhere, but I know he argued against mobilizing for war, but could Cain have been involved in the aggressive acts against these people?
How do you mean?
There were incursions, espionage. The thing that kicked it all off was an attack by Caraxians that, from memory, the Caraxians denied knowledge of. Could that have been Cain playing for power? Wartime is a useful time to try and take power.
Maybe. I don't know. I think if we play our cards right, we mind our P's and Q's.
I might have been able to get an audience with one of the generals. Where did that end up? Did it sound like that was a thing that could happen, or was it
Sounded like he was going to check and
brushed
see if
it
there
off?
was any
Cool.
work to be done,
Cool.
mercenary work to be done, that might kind of get you an audience that way.
I think if we're looking for an audience with the king, our best bet is to provide the city with a service.
I think we should try and go and explore off the top of the go see what's underneath.
Yeah.
I think there's lots of information. I think they might have probably more sightings or knowledge of where we could find Asticia. I mean, the horn sounds promising, but that possibly involves some minor theft.
Also, we might be aware too that if we do go down into this undercity, that there might be Sawagan down there who recognize us from the battle. Their battle of Wailing Bay. Well, at least myself and Kelly.
And me.
And yourself as well, yes.
In a different location, but I was there.
Right.
Were they fighting on the same side as...
Yes.
Yeah.
So at the bottom and the top joined forces.
We thought that it was under Zacchus's command. I thought that Delnis was a zealot. I thought that he had brought this army himself with nobody behind him, as considering what Sindrel, the sister of the high priestess of Garrix himself, she was cast as a zealot. I obviously mistakenly assumed that Delnis was the same.
We can also consider that the agreement we made with Garrix and with Grumbar and Akadi, that a place would be found for them once more, or at least their people once more on the prime material plane. That is a solid bargaining chip. This is what these people want, is they want what they see as their ancestral home.
It's true.
Yes.
I think that might be the tactic to go. If we can get to someone a high enough ranking that we can make that case to the king, we might be able to bargain for blowing of the horn.
That was my thinking.
We might be able to say that on behalf of Kamea and Wulfrene, but we cannot speak to the rest of the continent. We don't know whether...
But we've been speaking on the rest of the continent to every one of the primordials so far.
That's true.
Promising
there's no
that
love
they
lost
can come.
for what Finnin was saying, Miss Svelen. No
And
love lost for the
Svelen
floor.
isn't a city anymore.
No, if they took... There's nobody there anymore.
I mean, once they're back on the prime material plane, we can deal with them if they are a problem. But I mean, it's they have every right to be there. They were there once before, and to have their land back.
And I think if we make a bargain with Asticia, they'll fall in line with that bargain.
Well,
That's
especially
true.
if their king is named, if Asticia does in fact name their king. Entitled, it seems that the Deep Runs have very much been the ruling class, the ruling family for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, we saw how well that is, though, when royalty is named by a god that has not always worked in our favor.
This is very true. We have to
You're
be
not wrong
prepared.
there, yeah.
We can only assume that these people have their own interests at heart, and why would they have anybody else's interest, especially since they were shunted off the plane?
From what you were saying, the king tends to hold court with the generals more. I think I could get us a decent in with them.
I might
We
be able
also,
to swear the ear of the... If I can get in front of her, talk to the ear of the queen.
that was my thinking. Come at the king from two different directions.
Yeah, and if you work on that, Callie and I can go check out what's down below.
Just the two of you with letters.
My letters can come.
Yeah, I will go with them.
All right. I'm
Um,
reticent to split up. Sorry. I am reticent to split up and leave here quickly, especially considering we have been asked to stay here and
We'll
wait.
stay the night, and then in the morning we can see what happens.
What was the god's name again, Tim, that we talked to?
The captain that you spoke to?
Yeah.
Commandant.
The commandant or the captain?
No, the captain.
Zelmedes.
Zelmedes. I could also chat with Zelmedes, perhaps organize an escort of some sort, for at least for yourself and myself. Neppy. I think
If you're not, sorry.
Please go, Kale.
No, I was just going to say, if you're not comfortable with us going down below, we can always go see Fasten at the sea stables to inquire about some steeds, just to help us. You know, if it seems like a little bit, you know, less volatile of a assignment for.
I think we should also, like, what time is it at this point, Tim? We've seen the changing of the guard switch over, and we've been up.
You're getting into kind of like into the evening. It's probably about 7:38.
I can imagine that as most places where people tend to let loose occur, from what I have observed, this place might have a very different tone in the evening. We should probably do one more round of what we're doing, not necessarily interacting with everyone, but there's this chamberlain that you're looking for. I'm curious what that scribe has told people, and if we are to return to the room with a very different favorability in front of us.
I agree. Neppy, do you want to handle the scribe? I feel like that falls kind of within your
Of course, yeah, I
expertise
can
of,
try.
like,
I can try.
religious figures and
If I can see. Yes, I can try that. And I can try and see if I can touch base with the courtiers again, or if any new have shown up, and if any changes occur this evening. Keep an eye out. We spend the night and then we plan what to do in the morning. I think that's a fair cop as to what we do.
I agree.
Any objections, Kelly, or any thoughts?
No, I'm just trying to stay out of eyes view, I guess.
I think that might be wise, given your wife is the queen of the city that they invaded, that we now know was a citywide effort.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Kelly.
No, it's okay. Happens.
It can also make you look different, but it might raise some eyebrows.
I'd rather not seem to have gone missing somewhere in the city.
Fair point. I can make you invisible, though, if you want to keep an eye out.
I think I'm fine. Thank you, though.
Okay.
If you stay close to me, I can always, if they inquire as to why we're together, I'll come up with something. I'm a
Bodyguard.
Yeah.
Yes. If the religious figure has to travel with someone important, I'll make a show of it. I don't know. I'll try. I hope this is working. I have no idea. I have no idea whether we will be granted audience. I am so reticent to put ourselves in a situation like that happened in Wirangdun, though these people seem much less malicious than the entire time we were in Wirangdun. I cannot help but have the feeling that something is wrong, something is off.
I actually have an idea while we're doing our second round, if Kelly wants to kind of avoid, I'd be happy to go with. We could find the people here are pretty heavily armored. We could maybe see if we can purchase some armor that's like that allows Kelly to swim but also be protected. It's a worthwhile investment while we're here.
That's a wonderful idea. We have more than enough party funds to cover it. I am
What do you think,
assuming we
Kelly?
will be charged a steep pay hike or steep tax.
I can talk to my friend, my captain friend. I'm so sorry, Tim. I'm forgetting that dude's. Is it Zelmedes? Zelmedes. I knew it was Medes. I can talk to Zelmedes. See if he can point us in the right direction.
Armor would be helpful, especially for Kelly. I will be fine. I will hang back if we get into any fray. I have enough to protect myself. Plus,
Kelly, is that something you want to do?
Yeah,
Or
that sounds like a good idea.
do you want me to come with?
all right. Well, let's this is our room. We have your mansion, Kale. Let us return once more into the breach for the evening and see if there's anything we can scrounge up. Perhaps we give ourselves 3 hours. 3-4 hours.
Sounds like a good timeline, yeah.
All right.
Right, so you head back out into the bar, and Finnan and Callie, you head out to see if you can find Zelmides.
I would want to immediately find the closest like guard, so it doesn't look like we're just wandering off.
Yeah.
I'm just the Captain Zelmides. Would we be able to speak with him, or?
I mean, he's probably off shift, but
right.
Try to find his house.
He asked us to kind of stay within the area, and I want to respect his wishes.
Yeah.
Would you be willing to provide an escort to? We're looking to buy some armor for my friend here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many places will be open now.
Right.
It's kind of
It's getting later in the day.
You can try. I mean, I can take you to.
If you don't mind, we can try, but we might come back to it in the morning. But
yeah, sure. It kind of leads you out.
Armor is impressive. It seems so protective, but you
So
freely swim.
This.
Well, yeah, no, of course, but anything with the similar ability to be protected but be able to swim is.
I'll take you to the armor.
Thank you.
And I'll have you make a persuasion check for me too, just as he kind of leads you out.
28.
Yeah, and kind of takes you out, and he swims you through part of the city, and you see a couple of other guards kind of join with you guys, with the two of you, and he takes you to. You can see what once looked like a forge type building, but obviously there is no. You can see there is a glow inside, and as you head inside, you can see there is a vent kind of near the center, essentially a volcanic vent that has been cultivated here, and you can see like there is a triton. You can see like fairly large, like a lot of the triton that you've seen by nature of them swimming a lot are kind of like a lot of them have kind of a triangular shape of varying sizes, but this triton is like thick all the way down.
Is he hammering something?
Almost. You can see he's like heating it up, and he has like a stone that he's molding it around.
Oh, interesting.
And so
if he's hammering underwater, he would be absolutely massive.
Oh yeah. You do see he does have like, you can see there are hammers on the wall.
Wow.
But they seem to be smaller and more kind of like detail oriented, like for fine work, which is still like difficult through the water. But you can see he's got like these fairly impressive like scaled gloves, and you can see he's literally like pressing this thing as it's hot around this mold, and you can see there's different stones kind of set up as he's molding this armor and things like that, because most of them like are either like there are plates, and then underneath there's like either woven scale or like thick weave, like almost like leather, but it seems to be made out of some kind of vegetation that grows down here, like a thicker kelp. And it seems to be he's doing some of the kind of broader armor work. I'm gonna
lean to Gally. Do you want to go with the bodyguard angle? Is that kind of our safest bet?
I think it's the best bet, yeah.
All right. I'm gonna look at him. Oh, excuse me, sir.
He kind of stops like 1 second, and he kind of finishes
course.
up. And you see he kind of like rests it near the forge, and kind of turns, and you can see he's like almost entirely bald. There's just like a little fringe of blue hair, and kind of swims over.
I am the Lord Finnan Aganis, and this is my very adept bodyguard, and we found ourselves in your wonderful city, but at somewhat of a disadvantage, just given the nature of where we're from. I was wondering if you would be able to craft, or if you had to purchase any armor that my bodyguard here could wear while in the city, maintain some level of protection, but still be able to get around.
Oh, man. I don't really do a lot of, I don't really have a ton just kicking around. I can see what I have, but mostly it's military contracts. So I'll take a look. Kind of goes to the back. Comes back out. I have this that might fit. And you can see it looks like half plate basically. It's kind of like a single plate that looks like it kind of covers over the chest and kind of up on one shoulder, and you can see like one sleeve kind of comes down with some scales underneath.
Sick.
I mean, it's not the prettiest, but it'll move pretty easy underwater.
Yeah. That seems good. Yeah.
Yeah.
How
Well, that'll be 750 gold pieces.
I'll pay for it. Just assuming that I'll get it back from the party fund and trying to keep up the pretense of like I am a fancy lord.
He kind of like, as he's like about to hand it over, and you can see it's like very like, unlike a lot of the guards armor, like this is totally plain. He goes, "Do you want me to etch anything on there before you go?"
No, I think we're good.
All right, yeah, here you go.
Thank you.
Kind of hands it over. So yeah, you have a set of basic half plate. It is not. It does grant you. It's not necessarily magical, like it's not magical half plate, but it doesn't impede swimming. Basically, like you're able to swim unimpeded.
How much does that give me?
Half plate, I think, is base
14 plus dex to a max of 2.
Yeah.
14 plus dex. So
maybe
15?
So you'd probably have an AC of 17 with your shield.
Yeah.
17?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Did I off the dome remember that?
Base. It's base 15.
15 plus dex,
1, 16, plus, so 18 is your AC.
18.
Nice. 18.
Cool.
That's
Better
much
than
better than 13.
So much better than 13. Oh my gosh. Okay.
I appreciate it. This is gonna do the trick. Hopefully it won't be needed, but yeah.
Yeah, well, I better get back to work.
No, of course.
Around.
Awesome.
It kind of heats up. You watch him start to heat up the plate again.
The part of Finnan that like enjoys smithing is so curious. Like he's just like, I want to stay, but he's like, there's more stuff, more important stuff to do.
Back at the Pearl, we'll resolve Neppies. As you go looking for the scribe.
I'm going to keep an eye out for the courtiers that I saw before. I'm going to try and keep an eye out for this Chamberlain person. And I'm also going to keep an eye out for the scribe.
Okay. Make a perception check for me, please.
I'm going to cast a little guidance on myself as I do so. A little hand on the holy symbol. Oh, that's so good. That's a 30. 19 plus 2 is a 21 plus 11. That's a 32.
Nice.
Oh.
So the courtiers have left.
Okay.
You can see there isn't as many nobles around right now. And you do see the scribe kind of sitting at a table on his own. He looks to he has kind of a tablet in his hand that he's reading. And you can see he's got like a little piece of coral he's going over with it, and like a bag of pearls. And that's all you see right now.
Okay.
You don't see Decatur yet.
Okay. Do I do it? Do I play dumb? Yeah, I'm going to do it. I go over to the scribe from before. Hello.
And he kind of like looks up. Hello.
Hi, from back at the barracks. It's nice to see you. You forgive me. I know nobody here.
Right.
Perhaps wrong to assume, but I noticed you sitting alone.
Yeah, I was just finishing up a bit of work.
Oh, don't let me bother you. May I? You treated us very kindly. Back at the barracks.
I was just taking notes.
Where I come from, even those with who seem to have small jobs are always worthy of the work of admonishing for the hard work that they do.
Thanks.
You're welcome. May I May I join you? I do find myself alone.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Sure. You can have a pearl if you want.
Oh, I was going to offer to buy you one, but it seems as if you've got plenty. Does this do they serve food here, or is it just pearls?
Yeah, you can get food. Just flag one of the waiters.
Can I get something for you?
I mean, yeah, I could go for some shrimp.
Wonderful.
Also, thank you, Golden Mug, for the raid. Hello, folks. Welcome in. We're just ordering some food. A golden mug is always handy. So I would flag down a waiter and order. I would order us 2 of the same thing, whatever he suggested.
Yeah, you get brought out. It's again similar, served in this kind of floating bag. It's a little tighter mesh, but there's just live shrimp.
Great.
And he's starts chowing down on live shrimp.
Yeah, cool. I do. I try and follow the same. I make a joke. I make a joke of like, where I come from, usually they're sitting on a plate. But of course, any tips, any tricks?
I usually try to get him in one bite.
Well,
Order the head first.
wish me luck. And then I
It would
try.
be so green.
I'll have you make a Constitution saving throw.
Yeah, cool.
Oh,
As Nippy tries to
green,
try
little
it.
greenies.
I need
Put down a raw,
wriggling shrimp.
alive shrimp.
Neppy needs to make herself seem amenable. Like people need to just like you want to talk to her because
guess-
she's sweet and unassuming.
Is it raw if it's alive? Is that
Yes, that's the definition of raw. That's like as
I mean-
raw as you can get.
raw? I thought raw just like if it was dead and it was uncooked, it was raw.
I mean, it's alive, so it's very uncooked.
It's gonna be a 17, Jim.
So, dude, yeah, you managed to put it down. It's not the like, it's fine tasting.
food.
Like it tastes wet. Like
It's gotta be better than that gruel in the air elemental plane.
there
That's all.
does seem to be something on the shell that they coat it with.
Oh,
That kind of sticks to the shell. That is quite tasty.
Oh,
But yeah, it is live. and-
seasoning live creatures
eating a
seems
bug.
like such a.
yeah.
Neppy would just eat her shrimp while this wonderful scribe eats his shrimp, and make small talk about his job. So is your job primarily just writing things down at the barracks? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, I keep the records mostly
Ah,
at that barracks, anyways.
Right. I keep kind of records myself. I would pull out one of my journals, but it's water. So
Right.
yes.
Right.
how
Yeah.
old does this wonderful person look?
He seems like he's probably he seems around your age, maybe a little bit older.
Okay. May I ask your name?
Yeah, my name's Gage.
Gage. Well, it's lovely to meet you, Gage.
Wait, sorry, what is I know your name already.
It's all right. Nepentha.
Mm.
You can drop the titles of High Priestess. That is
Right.
certainly, no, I am a High Priestess, but very far from home. So,
I haven't really heard much of Nephthisaket.
she is the goddess of the moment, the transition, if you will, between life and death.
Oh, interesting.
It is said that all souls pass through her hands onto where they are supposed to go,
Ah,
regardless of who you are and where you're from.
we believe our souls sink to the depths.
Would Asticia be there for you?
Of course.
I don't know much of Asticia. Other than what I have read and whispers around the material plane, I would be appreciative of any insight you have.
Oh, she is a protector and values loyalty and protection of one another, strength, but also cunning.
Forgive me if I'm being forward. I have heard the tale of this city. How it fell, was sunk.
Did your friend tell you?
Which friend?
Skysinger.
No, she didn't.
And how do you know the story?
when you're in a position as I am, it is important to stay aware of happenings of other religions on the material plane.
So, I assume it was probably one of her ancestors.
Calliope's ancestors,
Yes.
the Sky Singers.
He's gonna make an insight check.
I genuinely don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, he can tell. He's like, you don't. How do you think the city got here?
From my knowledge, and I am very open and most likely wrong, most religious texts are, that this city resided somewhere around the place where we call now Athol's Calamity. And at some point, through an incursion, was sunk or pulled down to the depths. I don't know by whom, which is my genuine curiosity when you say Sky Singer. And I will admit, sir, I did notice your clocking of that. Hence my curiosity at your curiosity.
I'm a student of history myself.
Myself as
So
well.
when I heard the name Sky Singer, it stuck out. And Athol's Calamity is ironic to me.
I would love to know from one student of history to another.
It was Athol who sunk this place. Athol Sky Singer, the
Athos.
Archdruid
Oh,
of the Alderwood.
why did he sink it?
You said it was an incursion. It was an offensive. They were working with the Caraxians.
Goddess grace.
The Caraxians. They launched a campaign.
Was this during the Dawn War?
Yes.
Hmm.
At the beginning of the Dawn War, we established colonies on the mainland. The Caraxians were cut off from some of their cities, but it was only territory that had been traditionally ours. We had been drove off of once before, when the Caraxians first arrived. So we took back what was ours. But the cities that were cut off, they launched a guerrilla campaign and eventually worked with druids from the Alderwood. Melora herself drove the city into the sea. It was only by Asticia's hand that we managed to all survive.
I am thankful for her
Our
intervention.
ancestors, anyways. She protected us as we fell into the sea.
I can appreciate that is why you are so loyal to her.
Of course.
She did what she could to protect her people. I understand that. There is nothing I wouldn't give to protect every one of my sisters in my temple. My people.
It is said the Alussians were once a race of sea elves, but we've spent so much time in the depths, it's changed us.
Ah, you've adapted.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for telling me. I am ever grateful. You didn't have to, and you took a moment to shed some light.
Now you know the story. I'm curious to hear what your version is.
I knew it was Caraxian. I knew that there was an incursion of Caraxians, but history is written by those who take power. So the story we are told on the material plane is much different.
Mm.
We were told of Istitia's corruption, that she spurred the other Titans into war and mercilessly attacked cities with no regard. Nothing is told of her losses. Nothing is told of your people, which is unfortunate and wrong.
Well, hopefully you can set the record straight.
It is my hope. It is my hope that she deserves fair course, regardless of what has happened, regardless of decisions made. She is a god. She has been driven out of her home, shunted away. The first time I ever heard of Istitia was a tableau, a wall relief. Would you believe in the Caraxian temple? Told of Istitia doomed to the deep.
We all were.
You were. I wonder if she'll remember me. I have seen her once. Part of her, anyway.
You must be blessed indeed.
We are all blessed in our own ways, are we not? If it is any comfort to you and your people, the person I travel with who carries the name Skysinger, she has the same aims as me. Though she carries the name, that maliciousness, there is not a bone of it in her body. She is one of the most kindest souls I know, and she seeks to set the record straight. She would die for anyone who needed the help.
Good to know, I guess.
As far as that carries with your scribe work.
I'm a nobody.
Everyone's a somebody. I will leave you. I have taken up enough of your time.
Sure.
It's been a wonderful audience. I hope I see you again.
Likewise. He kind of reaches out his hand.
I take it in both of mine. If you'll grant me, I take his hands and put them up to my head and say a quick prayer in Infernal for him.
He kind of finishes his... I don't know how long you plan to stay in the city, but if you want to grab Pearl sometime.
You're very kind. It would be one of friendship and perhaps study.
Understood.
My husband and children wait for me at home.
Of course.
Oh, I feel that pain. Oh, little book nerd trying.
That's the second time Tim has flirted with me.
I play all these characters, so I'm gonna try.
Yes. I would leave him with a simple wave and leave him back to his study books. What a sweetheart. Very illuminating. Whew.
As you kind of head back over towards Kale, you both notice at the same time what appears to be Chamberlain Everest Decatur come in. You can see he has a hood up, but as he kind of pulls it down, as he kind of heads over to a table, he looks like he can't escape his noble robes. Like, he looks decked out. Like you saw courtiers before, but he is on another level. You can see he's decked out in jewelry, a number of like rings and like beautiful earrings in his frills. He is quite a bit more ostentatious than anyone you've seen so far.
What do you think, Kale? What's the play? I just got an earful of information, but nothing that will help us in this very moment. So,
I think we offer them return to the material plane. This is a person who has the ear of the king and could possibly set up a meeting.
I agree. I think we will have to be very careful, though the courtiers I spoke to before were quite amenable to speaking to me. I think this may be one of those do not speak unless you are of my caste, my level.
I could see that, but at the same time, what we have to offer is very desirable. I think
This is very true.
I think that gives us a certain amount of
Sway.
power in this bargaining.
I hope so.
I don't know if I should be the one who leads the.
I think we should wait for Finn and Kelly if they're close by, and then have them.
I think that's a good idea.
They come back relatively soon after. See Callie in her new armor.
I would relay everything. In like, I'd Cole's notes it. I'd Cole's notes the history assignment. But I wouldn't gloss over anything about the Sky Singers.
Does the name ring a bell to me, Tim?
Aethal Skysinger? No, not at all.
Okay.
Would have been 2,000 something years ago, 2,300 years ago.
That's a long time ago.
That's a long time ago.
You also know that Skysinger is your married name.
Well, yeah, I know that. But I was just thinking in the sense of like I went and met like so much of.
Yeah, doesn't ring a bell.
Well,
it makes me wonder though, what was actually happening. If there were two groups willing to essentially start a war, it makes me curious what they were trying to prevent or change.
Not that I have any excuses for what the Corexians did. I obviously don't know. So much is lost to history. The Warforged would be the only ones who would remember. Why? It was an offensive to try and beat back Istishia. A reckless assault. Onslaught. I don't know. History is written by those who win it.
I might adjust my title moving forward. I might say that I am of a noble house of Falway Tavar. No, is that the right place?
The Elven City? To the north.
What's the Illyrian city?
Illyria.
Illyria.
Save Illyria.
Save Illyria. I knew it was a two thing.
Yes,
name.
Illyria.
I might say I'm a lord of Save Illyria. I don't know if Wulfrene's gonna be the best place to be a lord from. And like, it's technically true. I am the mouthpiece of their god, so
Savior of a city.
yeah, sure they wouldn't mind. I'll talk to one of them when we get back and ask for forgiveness, not permission, you know.
Should we corner the Chamberlain with our proposal?
I think we should approach cautiously.
I think a cautious approach is the best bet.
Yes, I follow your gracious lead, Finnan. If you would like a religious figure stepping forward first, happy to take it. But I think you are the person to.
Kale, would you mind if I refer to you as a bodyguard?
Sure.
Okay. I'm going to step forward and like kind of move close to the Chamberlain.
I am going to take a hand. I'm going to put a hand on Finnan's back, and I'm going to cast Enhance Ability on him for charisma.
Eagle Splendor.
You betcha.
Splendid like an eagle.
You betcha. Not that you need it, but advantage always helps.
It's going to be good. It's going to get some high 30s numbers.
Some spicy babies.
My Lord Chamberlain, my name is the Lord Finnan Aganis of Seva Illyria. I was wondering if we might have the honor of having a word.
Kind of like sort of taken aback a bit.
My apologies if this is
No,
breach
this
in
is
decorum.
highly irregular, but I'll allow it.
My apologies. We are new to the city.
And who is this? And he kind of gestures towards Kale.
This is my one of my bodyguards, Kale Salad, and this is the other, Calliope. And this is the High Priest, Nepentha Lightkeeper, my traveling companions.
And let us Blackwater.
And
as you move a little
Blackwater,
closer,
my
he's
business
still at the
partner.
bar, fucking all business, just fucking. As you kind of move a little bit closer, you see a figure kind of becomes visible next to Evros. You can see kind of an imposing female Triton decked out with a number of kind of forked knives. Yes, I have a bodyguard as well.
Wonderful.
It's a necessity in these troubling times.
Yes, well, I suppose you have my ear. You've caught me off shift, but a chamberlain's work is never done.
No, it's a dignitary's work is never done. You know, it's. I appreciate your time. We come with lofty goals. We have been traveling far. We have spoken to. Well, to put it frankly, we've spoken to the siblings of Asticia. We've also spoken to representatives of the gods. And we come in dire need of Asticia's aid. And you came up as someone worthwhile talking to in that pursuit.
Because of my connection to the king and the queen.
I would offer
You are-
potentially partly as your understanding, your intricate understanding of how the city of Alussia works. And
to
our wish.
ensure that we
Flattery.
don't.
We'll get you everywhere.
To ensure we don't, overstep any bounds.
Of course. So, what is it exactly you would like me to do?
Even a kind word of advice would be greatly appreciated, but anything you're willing to offer would be a boon
Well,
to help us in our quest.
I think we can speak plainly, if you don't mind. We wish an audience with the king.
And by extension, Asticia herself.
well, yes, the king does have a direct line to Asticia. Now, that is a tall order
Of
to
course.
speak to the king. But I can arrange it. But it does come at a price.
Please name it if it's within our power.
Well, 10,000 gold pieces would certainly motivate me to end my evening early.
Oh, it doesn't have to happen tonight. And also, in the long run, and I'm going to lean a little close, almost like conspiratorially, on the table, speaking with the other Titans, the offer has been made that a return could be possible. I imagine it would be a name to go down in history, the Chamberlain who facilitated the deal that allowed your people to return to their ancestral homes.
I'll have you make a persuasion check.
Well
With
done.
advantage.
Ooh, very nice. Very spicy.
That is a 36.
Oh my gosh.
The Chamberlain leans in closer. Well, if what you're saying is true, the king has no heir. So, if this is true, and I do broker this meeting, it will still cost you 5,000 gold pieces because my time is valuable, but
Of course.
I would like to get the full credit for it to assure my place when the king dies.
Kale's gonna in his head say, "No, Like he's gonna object.
I don't know if we can promise that.
Yeah, I'm gonna in my head be like, how much money do we have again?
We have enough for 5,000.
Okay. That is not something within our power to promise. We don't represent Asticia. As I understand, Asticia is the person who is the being that makes that call, but I'm sure your actions in getting us an audience with Asticia would go a long way in gaining her attention.
You will have her ear, will you not? Should your plan succeed, all I ask is that you put in a recommendation.
In my head, that seems reasonable, right? We just say who facilitated this deal. We can let her know who was crucial in facilitating this meeting.
I'm gonna insight check. I'm gonna
This
insight
dude's
check.
just slimy.
Yes, I want to
don't
know.
like this guy.
Yeah, we can make an insight check. Go for it.
Just I need to know.
Oh, big stretch.
Okay. Is my insight plus 11 also?
I was getting so distracted because there's a bird on the deck, and Kappa's like, "This is my territory," but he's inside at the glass
Oh my
door, and he
God.
keeps every time he gets eye contact with me, he puts his hand up on the
Please.
glass. He's like, "Let me out!
Please let me
Please
get
let
the
me
protect
out.
us.
Let me get the bird.
Protect us from this bird.
That's going to be a 23.
Yeah, I mean, he is telling you his ambition. It's very clear he wants to be the king, and now that there is no kind of clear heir in the line of succession, a new king will have to be chosen, or queen. And it seems like he has very clear ambition.
So this is less of like a power play in this moment, but a like laying the stones for
he's
the
just-
road to success.
He's a rope. He's a rung
Yeah.
climber. I know that.
He's trying to secure his pathway to the crown.
Forgive me for asking. The king, did he have an heir?
He had a son.
Ah,
Oh,
and what was and what happened?
Delnus fell in battle. He's a hero to all of us.
of course. It is a tragedy, but
I'll have you make a deception check for me, please.
easy. Is it 26? Nope, 27, because I got a +1 now.
19. I rolled well.
Doesn't seem to clock that you're lying.
That's a lie of omission, baby.
That's it again, not within our power, but hopefully once we have the ear of Asticia, it would stand to reason that the person responsible for facilitating that would get credit where credit is due.
You can be generous with the credit.
Of course.
We have been generous with the flattery, have we not?
I like you all.
This has been a pleasure. Chamberlain,
Indeed.
thank you. We are staying here.
Excellent. Well, I will send a royal dispatch in the morning to collect you and bring you to the palace.
And I'm going to we can organize payment. Probably don't want to do it here. It's a little crass, but we can.
I would prefer we just get that bit of business out of the way.
Oh, I see.
I'm gonna say in my head to Finnan.
Yeah.
If you are able to cast the magic that allows you to see through things, I would be very curious to know why he never takes off his gloves.
So smart.
Big smart.
Big brain moment, Kale.
Here's the thing. What is
You
this?
don't
This
think
is
you
a
can do ghostly
verbal,
gaze anymore.
somatic, and material component for choosing. But what doesn't have any of those is my eyes will catch the light weirdly for a second, and I will use ghostly gaze to see through the gloves.
You see, well, let's see.
Oh, dang it.
Inherent.
That's exactly what that is. That's the verbal component of true sight. It's just saying enhance.
Annoyance.
You would see. I'll have everyone take their headphones off except for Adam.
Oh boy.
Oh, spicy.
It doesn't see through. Would it see through illusion?
It doesn't, I believe. But if it's just regular hands, I might also cast True Sight, but I'll have to do that surreptitiously, so that'll come later. Let me
If you don't see
check what
through
my ghostly gaze. You're able to see solid objects to a range of 30 feet.
No, seems regular.
Then I will essentially reach for Neppy's coin purse, and kind of like be like, oh, sorry, and like kind of fumble. And in the midst of like mumbling that, I'm gonna rub my eyes, cast True Sight, and try and do it surreptitiously.
Yeah, I will have you make a sleight of hand check.
Oh boy.
Is it disadvantage because there's both the bodyguard and him sitting right there?
That's fair. Both excellent rolls. Sleight of hand. The latter of the two is a 19. I rolled particularly well.
You kind of look back up as you catch the bodyguard's eye as her eyes kind of narrow.
I give her like a very charming smile.
She looks like a Triton, and as you kind of come across and your eyes land on Decatur, you see through the illusion that he is in fact a Sahuagin. I have such a hard time fucking saying that word. Sahuagin.
Interesting.
In disguise. And you can see his kind of toothy grin. I'll have everyone put their headphones back in. And that's where we're going to end it tonight.
Oh gosh.
No!
We haven't handed over the money yet. I don't know what happened, but we haven't handed over the money yet, right?
I have the money in hand. I used grabbing the money as a cover to cast True Seeing. So
Yeah,
I have the money
okay.
in hand.
Oh,
I can't tell
what's
you
happened?
all. He's Sahuagin.
He's
His
a shark
bodyguard is
person.
a Triton.
The bodyguard is a Trident? Okay.
Yeah.
He's a shark person in disguise.
Shark
Gosh.
boy.
Gosh dang it.
He's a goddamn
a
street
girl.
shark.
Wait. Does the illusion show that the Triton isn't actually a Triton, but is a lava girl, and it's Shark Boy and Lava Girl? We found them finally. We finally found them. I've been looking the whole campaign for Shark Boy and
uncovered
Lava
it.
Girl.
We
Is this
uncovered it.
Taylor Lautner?
It is Taylor Lautner as Shark Boy.
Oh my
God.
god. Dreams.
Thank you all so much for hanging out with us tonight. This has been an absolute treat. Welcome to the Water Elemental Plane and one of our last of the Titan trials. I am so excited to figure out what the fork is happening down here. We are back tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time at twitch.tv/Kobold Press for the finale of our Margrave campaign. I am so excited. Gully does not have any more blight on their face. This is a good time. Veyroon, however, is dead, and we hope to bring him back. So
You know what I did forget
Mm.
in all my packing is the hat. And
Oh.
so it's
That's
no,
okay.
I was going for a walk today and I went, shit. Damn
That's
it.
okay. So please come hang out with us tomorrow night. We are also back on Wednesday for the premiere of the Rage Saga, and which is going to be very, very,
Yes.
very fun. Just 3 Minotaurs, sweet Minotaurs trying to get a job done. And then we are back next Saturday for an alternate universe Blackwater game. It's going to be very exciting. Tim, do we have a title for that yet? No, that's okay.
I muted it while I unmute. There we go. Absolutely, we have a title. It's it's called Blackwater on the High Seas.
I love it. Blackwater on the high seas.
And it
Actually,
might not be
probably gonna-
Raging
I'm
Seas.
workshopping
It might not
the-
be Raging Seas this week. We might do a
I'm
different
workshopping the title.
rage.
It's not
I
set
can
in
adjust.
stone.
I can
I
also
can do
adjust
better.
him. I can.
Expect pirate ships, expect good times, expect lots of sea shanties. We are going to go raid someone. So one of our mods will throw up a raid message that you can throw in there. High water on the Black Sea. Maybe that's what will
I'm
happen.
workshopping.
I thought you
It's
were
not
gonna
perfect.
do.
I had one job
Doctor,
and I failed.
I thought you were gonna do a Doctor Strange reference
Mm.
into the Nepiverse.
Into the
Into the
Nepiverse.
That's a
Ooh.
better title.
Yeah,
Kale,
that's
you're
gonna
the
come-
DM now, okay?
Yeah,
Wait,
this is
the
DM now.
multiverse
is
of
the DM.
Clackness.
No,
The
no, no.
multiverse of
But
Clackness.
Yanis isn't the DM. Kale
Kale
is the
is the
DM
DM.
now.
What a
Like I
chaotic
said,
campaign.
yeah.
That's
that
too
would be.
meta. That's too meta for me.
An
It's too
R-rated.
meta.
It's just fade to black
Adventure.
over and over and over again, and
That's all
nothing
it
ever
is.
gets done. We're gonna go raid, so we will pop into an outro screen. So stick around for that. I'm not sure who we're gonna raid yet, but definitely some good D&D up here on Twitch. So thank you all so much, and just in case you find out that you not mistakenly, you just murdered a prince a really long time ago. Be safe.
safe.
Good night, everyone.
I'm being devoured by mosquitoes.